Oh
Recording
shit! I
in
heard that.
recording in progress. It's not a two-party consent state, so I can just
Uh,
record.
oh shit! Well,
Hold
damn.
on. We need to turn
I
this on.
wasn't. I
Record this
wasn't.
shit.
I didn't have that understanding. Fuck.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Are we?
Alarm.
Is this it? Is this what's? Is this happening right now, or are you just
Yeah,
testing?
yeah. No, we're doing it.
Oh, we're doing this,
Let's go.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Children of
children
all ages.
of not all ages.
Children of some
Welcome.
ages. No children. How about that?
No, how about no children?
No kids.
Welcome to the T2G Tangents
The tangents.
podcast.
The hashtag the
The
tangents
hashtag
podcast.
the Tangents podcast. Uh, if you don't know, tangents means talking about going into starting a conversation and then going into other topics from that conversation for
That's
no
probably
apparent.
the most concise way we've introduced the
That's like the
podcast.
best. Yeah, I
We're
mean,
at like
listen,
98 episodes or
yeah,
97
and I always
episodes, and
said
we have
Google it, but
yeah, but that's
people
like the
Google
first
shit.
time.
Listen, but people Google shit, and then they still get the wrong answer somehow.
That's
So like,
true. That's
so
true.
at this point, I don't even know what to do. I'm a
You know,
little
I
concerned.
think we need to get. I think we need to stop letting people do their own research.
Yeah, I'm saying
I think,
I think that's
I
probably the
think,
most important
there's
thing
a lot
right
of
now.
people out here doing their own research and
Too many people doing their own
doing the wrong
research at this point.
research, not learning the right shit.
Yeah, that happens to be an issue. But speaking of that, I'm just going to start off. I got two topics I want to talk
Man's got
about. First
topics
one,
already. Shit. All right.
first one I want to talk about is going to be car related, of course. I think we've talked about it. Did we talk about the EPA in the previous, or that was just our conversation outside of the podcast? That might have been our conversation outside of
Yeah,
the
I
podcast.
mean, I think we brought it up before, but
Yeah, yeah,
nothing,
we
nothing
brought it
in
up.
depth.
So we if you guys have listened to us, I'm sure I've mentioned it before. For a while there, the EPA was trying to ruin the racing industry by not allowing grassroots people from modifying their uh, road vehicles into race vehicles. Essentially, they were making it to where you would have to purchase a manufactured race car, which costs $500,000 to $1 million easy. We've won that. Luckily, looks like the RPM Act did its thing from SEMA, and they've removed that part of the ruling for the act or whatever you want to call it. But
The Clean Air, I mean, the Clean Air Act is still being interpreted in some circles in a harsher way, where they are still like trying to basically like read it that it says that, even though it doesn't actually say that. So that's it's still a concern. It's the fight is not over on
no,
that
no, the
end,
fight's
from
definitely
what
not
I
over. I
understand.
mean, listen, yeah, the fight's definitely not over. There's still definitely words in there that are open for interpretation and can be used very well against the industry. And so the fight's definitely not over. It just appears that in that aspect we have gotten one up, right? That's pretty much it. Like we haven't won anything.
It's all you
um
can get these days. You
yeah,
get
and
one.
these days
You
it's
get one.
all you can. But now I come to find out that there's two racetracks that are being closed. One very very in my eyes a very big and a very important racetrack, which is the Atlanta Dragway. Obviously Georgia, Atlanta. It's a racetrack that is owned by the NHRA, which is a huge um, uh, what's the word for it?
Organization.
Yeah, I guess it's a huge organization within drag racing.
Okay.
And essentially, what happened there was there's a racetrack. That racetrack's been there since I think the 70s. I think
Okay.
Atlanta Dragway. Let me see here. Um, 1981. So since beginning of the 80s.
I
So
mean, a
since
while.
19, I'm sorry, it opened in 1975, but I think the NHRA owned it from 1981. So
I see. Okay.
from 1975, this racetrack's been there. And so, you would think people would be like, let's not build apartment buildings and houses near a racetrack where we're going to complain about the noise, right? You would think, but I guess that's not the case. So essentially what ended up happening is right behind the racetrack, there are new apartment buildings that have been constructed. Due to this, I'm assuming they've gotten many complaints and many pushbacks from the guys that are buying these lands and building these buildings here to essentially get rid of the racetrack.
Right.
Here's what I'm going to say. And so that's that. And now you have, I find out today from one of the YouTubers that I watch that Palm Beach International Raceway, which is a drag strip slash road course, they are also shutting down because the land was bought out by a company of some sort that essentially deals with distribution. Jesus Christ, I can't speak. Distribution. And there is rumors to be said that a Walmart's going to be opening on that racetrack, where that racetrack is now. Let me say this. You guys, whoever's listening to this, if you're mad about people doing stupid shit on a racetrack, on the road, imagine how many more there's going to be because they can't go to a racetrack. It's that simple.
That's a fair
it's
point.
That you want to get rid of the racetracks, you're going to be dealing with some awful shit. There's already idiots on the road, right? Morons. They do stupid shit during traffic. They race where they should. I don't have anything against street racing if it's a middle of nowhere where literally there's no cars. I have no problem with that. If you're racing on the street, you know what you're doing there. You're racing on the street. You don't have anybody to help you. If you crash, you're fucked. There's no safety measures put in there because this isn't a racetrack. But as long as it's done somewhere where there's no people. But now you're not just getting rid of racetracks, you're getting rid of road courses. At some point, that's going to be a big problem for even people that are not looking to be involved in racing. And you keep getting rid of these racetracks, you're gonna have a problem for yourself. And you can get whatever laws in place, people will still do shit. Road racing is illegal, street racing is illegal. You take away something people can do legally, they will do it illegally, no matter how many laws you put in place. The EPA could come in and put 20,000 different laws against it. I mean, look at right now. Right now, you got this stupid shit that I don't 100% don't agree with. This street takeover bullshit where literally people block off a large intersection where it's packed with normal people cars, right? This is normal driven intersection. They block it off so they can do donuts and shit like that. Like, I don't agree with that. That's stupid. That's fucking, those people are already breaking the law, and those people need to be like, there need to be cops there so they can arrest that shit. But now you're going to take over racetracks. Now people are going to start racing, and you might not like where that ends up. I mean, some people are gonna, don't get me wrong, some people are gonna drag race most likely on a road that's, there's no traffic on, there's literally, probably never see a car on it. But there are going to be some of those people that aren't that nice, and they're going to do it wherever the fuck they feel like. And I hope you guys are ready for that. I hope you think this getting rid of drag strips, getting rid of road racing courses and stuff like that is a smart thing.
Let me ask you a question though. Are these things being closed by like the ownership, or like why?
Okay, so like for instance, the Atlanta Dragway had no reason to close. Like they weren't financially like in ruin or anything like that. They're being forced to close because of these big millionaires that are buying land and deciding, hey, we're going to just build apartments here because we can. And they know they're going to get
forced out of
they're going to get forced out. They know they're going to force out the racetrack. They're not concerned about it because they're going to get forced out, because once people start moving in, people are going to complain, cities are going to get involved, and they're going to force them out.
Right.
As for the Palm Beach International Raceway, like, I haven't heard. From
Well,
what I understand, the land got bought.
yeah, the land got bought, and they're saying that um, it might be turned into a Walmart. Which,
Right.
I mean, yeah, that sucks. I mean, for sure that sucks.
Like
But like,
we got plenty of Walmarts and we got plenty of land other places.
right, right. You're not
We
wrong
got
there.
we got
You're not
plenty of
wrong there.
both. We got plenty of
You are
both.
not wrong there.
To do it on a racetrack where people go to safely and legally do their hobby, do their profession, whatever it might be. Uh,
Right.
whatever happens from here, it's on you. It's not on the racers. They've been doing what they need to do. Now you're doing something to them to prevent them from doing that. So in my opinion, this is on who anybody thinks this is a good idea. Whoever is doing it and whoever thinks this is a good idea, whoever authorized this is all on them. Whatever happens from here is all on them, because what else is going to happen? People are trying to do shit legally and you're not letting them.
Yeah. I mean,
Because I mean, the people that own Palm Beach International Raceway, they're not going to go try to find land, especially right now during a fucking pandemic, and rebuild a racetrack. You know how much it
no,
costs to
yeah,
rebuild a
the upfront,
racetrack? Like,
yeah, the upfront cost for that is ridiculous.
it's
There's
just
just
not going to
no, it's
happen.
not practical. It's not
Yeah,
practical
it's
to
not
even
even a little
consider
bit.
that.
So it's and they've been around since 1965. So
Mm.
like this dumb bullshit is just getting absurd. That's just where it's at. So kind of wanted to say my piece on that. If you're listening and you don't necessarily care for racing industry, but you do get pissed off when you hear that people are doing stupid shit on the road, well, uh, I would like to encourage you to tell people to not take away racetracks. So because there's only one turnaround when you do that, and you mentioned it on my post, and that's essentially that the streets become the racetrack. So
Yeah, it goes back to the streets. I mean, there's
it,
just no way around that. I mean, I would say, especially for drag. Um,
yeah, especially for drag. I mean, shit. Any motherfucker's gonna line up. They're like, nah, that looks about like a quarter-mile run. Let's do it.
I mean, in practice, I mean, I've done it. I've
Yeah,
done,
no, for sure.
I've
Yeah,
done it before.
100%.
Like when I was in my younger days, like that's where we did shit. That we did
Yeah,
shit in the
same here,
streets.
man. Same here,
So
man.
it's now we're adults, we go to these tracks, but I mean, like, if they shut down, I mean, like, what, we've got the two options that are like reasonably close outside
Yeah,
of Road America. We've got the Great Lakes, and we've got uh oh, I guess
Ru-
they're
there's Route 66, but that's been closed all year apparently. That's
really,
Yeah, I'm guessing due to COVID. They've been
I
closed all
mean,
year. Which I
so
mean, I
wait, so have they not done the fuck's that shit called, import face off?
no import face off. Never heard from them. They just never. They like
So the entire, like,
the Atari facility has been closed all year, from what I understand.
that's wild.
Yeah, they import face off had to move it.
I mean, that's their whole business.
That the entire business.
Like, that's not, wow, that's
Yeah, I mean
crazy.
it's racing and it's hosting events,
Yeah.
and like it's literally like they've been closed and that's all they do.
I
So
wonder if,
like,
I mean, like, what, it's one of those, like, I wonder, what about the people that paid for the classes? What about the people who
oh,
had,
I agree.
standing agreements and stuff like that? Like,
I, I agree 100%.
man,
Yeah, I
that's
don't know how.
weird. I mean, I hope, hopefully that's one of those things. Like, if that goes away, like, I wasn't even thinking about them, honestly. That's because I'm thinking, like, within 30 minutes to an hour, we've
Which
got
Route
Great Lakes.
66? Well, which Route 66 is? It's like a 40-minute drive. It's right next to
Oh, okay.
Autobahn.
Damn,
It's
it,
literally
it
it's
always,
literally to the like.
right. It always feels like, damn, there's way more tracks than I was thinking of. But, like,
Yeah.
just thinking drag, you've got Great Lakes,
Yep.
you've got Route 66.
Yep.
What is the one west?
There's one by Rockford. It's in Byron.
Byron, that's the one I always
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah.
And then no, that's it, because the other one that we go to is
Yeah.
a
And you got to
state.
understand, like, you know this very well, and I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it on one of the biggest Cars and Coffee uh, um, events in the States, which is in Palm Beach. The guy during COVID has been trying to set up where people can still do car shows, right? But due to COVID, the place they originally were doing it weren't able to do it, right?
Right.
They couldn't allow that. Um, so instead, he was taking it to a racetrack. Well, there's motherfuckers that will complain to go to a racetrack because it's too far away. Like, he literally had complaints. The guy that runs that had complaints because, oh, it's too far away. I'm like, he was even saying, like, it's just another, like, I think 20 minutes away from where the original event was, which, I mean, granted, like, that adds an additional 20, but like, whatever, 20 minutes to me, that's nothing, but people clearly complain. So, like, if guys are based off here where I'm at, and you take out Route 66 and the only other two options is fucking Great Lakes and Byron, and which are both about an hour to hour and a half away, what do you think's going to happen? You think they're going to drive an hour and a half to go racing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nah, they're probably going to do it right down the road. Like, come on. It's
I mean,
why,
the thing
if you
is,
know there's a racetrack, let me put it this way. If you know there's a racetrack and that racetrack's been there since the 60s, since the 70s, fuck it, even since the 80s, it's been there since that.
mhm.
And then you, as a rich person who is buying out land to build apartment buildings or all this, you were like, well, I'm going to approach this city, I'm going to tell them I'm going to build land which is going to bring them people, but I'm going to build it right next to a racetrack. You're an idiot. You're an idiot, because not only have you just now caused a problem for people who do that stuff as a profession or as a hobby, or even the audience that goes there, but then also at the same time, you've now caused problems for anybody that doesn't care for racing, because now on the road, they're going to experience it.
Right.
And the fact that there are cities that don't think like this, that are just like, oh yeah, you're a rich motherfucker, gonna bring people here. Yeah, no, build right next to the racetrack. We don't give a fuck. You who are running the city are also idiots for not thinking the bad part of that.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's kind of the other factor of it, is the expanding urbanization of America. Like,
Yeah.
granted, I don't think Byron or South Beloit are like in danger of being like extremely
Believe it or not,
urbanized, like in the short term. I'm talking about in the
yeah,
short
no,
term,
but
like
urbanized for
in
sure.
the next like 5 years.
But like
But it's like if
Great Lakes has multiple complaints against them from people that live around the racetrack that have complained to the city. Like, they've had multiple complaints that they're
yeah,
too loud, and I'm like, then why'd you move near the racetrack, motherfucker?
I mean, there's that, right? There's
Like,
the
why did you
racetrack's been there.
decide? Oh, there's a racetrack that I can hear for 2 miles, and I'm gonna move 2 miles near it.
And I don't get that. That's
At
it's
what
like
point were you
that's like
thinking this is a
that's
good
like a
idea?
super rural area too. Like, I don't.
Yeah, super.
There's not. It's just the people that have farms there and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
And I
I don't
mean,
know.
it's not like they do
It's
it late at night or some shit. Like,
Yeah,
at,
no. I mean, I think that the longest that when
at
we were
worst
there.
case, like a event, like, which I don't think is anymore an event,
Yeah, I
but
was
like
gonna say I
King of
don't
the
even think.
Streets,
I was gonna say
uh,
Cots is no longer a thing.
yeah, like, might go till 10, might.
Yeah, so like Anarchy, I guess, is there now.
Uh,
So like Anarchy
yeah,
probably runs till like 9 or 10, but like 9 or 10. And I mean, like, we were there till like 9:30 the one year, and it was like winding down.
yeah,
It
like
was
super wide. Yeah,
winding down.
yeah,
Like, you had like one or two people run, and then it was quiet for a while, and then one or two people run. Like, it wasn't like back to back to back dragsters like it was
yeah,
during the day.
100%.
So it's a whole different. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking like Joliet, I could see, because Joliet's kind of like, weirdly, it's kind of like growing as a city.
It
So
is,
like
yeah,
so like I could see like Joliet growing in that area, becoming more urbanized and more populated, and like the rural aspect, like the big plots of land kind of shrinking and being divvied up into more livable space, I could understand that becoming like, oh hey, like we moved here, we didn't realize this racetrack was going to be this much of a thing. And I guess I could understand how that could happen with something that's growing fast like that. So it's kind of like a twofold problem. It's we have these things that are by their nature loud. I mean, there's just no way around that. Like tracks are loud. Like
for sure. I mean, they are.
But like, do you not build up your city? Do you say, all right, we're gonna cap out Joliet at let's say they have 40,000 people in Joliet. We're gonna cap out for Joliet at 40,000. We're not gonna allow more people to move here. Oh, you own 4 acres and you want to split it up and sell 3 acres as 3 1-acre plots? No, you can't. Like, I mean, that becomes weird, like.
No, I get what you're saying. But also like you have to. I get what you're saying. Like, I'm not saying there's a perfect answer, but
I mean, there never is.
But if at the end of the day, if you think the perfect answer is like, yes, let's keep building near a racetrack and get rid of the racetrack, and you think somehow that's going to be a good thing at the end of the day, you're going to be very, very disappointed when it comes down to it. Because then you're going to be doing news reporting on news like drag racing has hit the streets in a great manner or some bullshit like that. It's ridiculous what's happening on the street. Yeah, you took away the racetracks.
All right.
Like, what do you just keep, like, let me ask you this, like, do you, if for instance, granted, like Route 66 has been there since 1998, so like it is still a newer racetrack comparatively speaking, but let me put it to you this way, knowing that it's like, to be fair, like cities do get capped out because there's just no more land.
Well, simply because if they jut up against other cities, but I mean, like, right, there are still parts of Joliet that are like they're like people live in Joliet but have like 10 acres. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
So what I'm saying is, like, if you have a 10-acre gap between you and the track, it's not that big of a problem for you. But if you're like, hey, I'm a little hard on cash, I want to cut 2 acres off the end there, I'm going to sell that as a 2-acre plot.
Right.
Now that person's living right next to the track. Whoever buys that, granted, if you are buying that, you should be aware of that. But at
you
the
should
same
be
time,
aware
like,
that you're buying a near giant, like,
you
can't miss Route 66. Like,
you really can't.
you when you're driving, when you, like, if there's a house that's 10 acres away,
you can't miss it to such a degree that I drove into it and I didn't realize it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I'm almost there. Oh shit, the track is around me. What the fuck do I do now?
Yeah, exactly. So like, at some point, yes, it is on you as a person and as a city to realize, like, these racetracks have been here before we were able to develop a lot. So we have to understand our limitation and what that means.
Right.
Like, what happens? Okay, let's say you kick out, for instance, we're just taking Route 66 in this scenario. You kick out Route 66, right? They leave Joliet. They find now new land where it's not developed. And then somebody starts saying, well, we want to develop this city.
Right.
Do you get kicked out again?
Well, here's the problem. What we're going to end up with,
even though they were there first,
Yeah, I mean, what we're going to end up with is the laws of scarcity are going to come into play, because let's say you get rid of all independent privately owned tracks.
Right.
So what then? You have to go to Indianapolis to get track time?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
At which point, how much is that? At which point, how much does that reduce track safety for the official races?
I'm saying,
because you don't know if somebody dropped oil, you don't know if it was cleaned up properly. Like, if you only run NASCAR races on the Indy track, like, that's what you need to work. That's what you need to clean up for. That's what you need to monitor for. But if all of a sudden every Joe Schmo from the tri-state area is coming there because that's the only track available,
Right.
Now you have so many more things that could go wrong.
Yeah,
Little things
100%.
left on little things that left on the track might NASCAR driver might hit it, on a practice run, somebody fucking dies. Like it becomes a much more complex thing. But because I thankfully I don't think we're ever gonna get there. I don't think that's gonna be a thing.
Right.
But with it's kind of like a twofold thing on like these independent tracks, because at some aspects there is a dwindling amount of people who are going.
I mean, for sure,
The young
100%.
I just don't I could be wrong, but I don't see a large swath of the younger generation getting into actually like getting on a track. Like they're into cars, looking cool, like fancy cars,
which I
expensive
mean,
cars,
which is,
cool, whatever.
right.
But it's not track time. It's not
Right.
racing.
Well,
It's
that's why,
not.
and I do have to admit that, because in that Palm Beach Cars and Coffee event that's held over there, the complaint was like, "I'm here for a car show, not to be at a racetrack," and I'm like, I literally commented like, I didn't realize car enthusiasts didn't like racetracks, like, like
Yeah,
what,
that's the thing.
like
That's the
like
thing. It's
like
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 like even for me, like I'll say I enjoy racetracks, but like I have a maximum time limit. You know what I mean? Like
no, for sure, but like,
I'm
wouldn't you,
not
like,
like
let's say
personally, like I'm
if
not
there's
gonna like spend
let me
like
ask
2
you,
days at a track
yeah, for sure,
just watching
yeah,
with
100%. But
no
let me ask you
like
this: like, if somebody's throwing a car show, would you rather be at a racetrack or at a parking lot? To me, racetrack makes more sense,
oh
because
yeah.
then
I mean
not only do you
yeah,
get
but
a car show, but you got racing.
it's yeah. I mean, especially if there is racing, yeah. I think
Right.
that's like a twofer, because then it's like, oh hey, cool. Oh, there's one of those on the track right now. Let's see what it can actually do.
Exactly.
Like, oh, this is dope. It's cool that you have this $70,000, $80,000 Corvette. Oh, but look, somebody's out there with the same car,
100%.
ripping up the track. Let's look at that.
Yeah,
Like,
100%. That's what I'm saying. Or if you're an enthusiast that likes not just car shows, but also being on the racetrack, like for instance, the that Cars and Coffee, they were, I think, hosting it, trying to host it at Palm Beach International Raceway, which is not just a road course and a go-karting track, but it's also a drag strip. So while they were hosting that, you could actually pay the track $30 or something to race on the quarter-mile track,
right.
if that's something. So not only are you there for a show, but then you're also able to race your car legally, safely.
It's it's wild. It's really wild. Because when we went to Byron seemed like the hardcore people. It felt like every car, like most every car that was at Byron came on a flatbed. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
came on a
that's true. That's
flatbed,
true.
came in a trailer. People were there because they have put money in their vehicles to
Right,
come to Byron
right.
and rip that shit up.
That's true. That's
When
true.
you go to something like when we went to what was the other when we went to Joliet for import face off, everybody that was there for the auto show, not everybody, but 90% of the people that were there
A
for the auto
lot,
show
a lot of
lined
people.
up to drag.
Yeah, yeah, a
And
lot of
that might have
people
been their
that.
first try. That might have been their only time they've ever ran. But they were there and they were like, fuck it, I'm going to line up.
I mean, there was
Because why the fuck
lines,
not?
because there was lines for
Dude,
people to go
dude,
on there.
we walked in and we were like, oh, that's a cool car. I wonder how that's going to do. We were recording for 20 minutes before that car ever came up to line.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
and you saw it whittle down very quickly. Like the people
Oh yeah,
who
for sure.
just wanted to go try it out, they didn't come back around. But then you
Right.
kept seeing probably
The
10, 15 cars kept coming around because they were the ones that were there to race.
Exactly. They just want to keep doing it, either to beat the
Get
guy next to
better or
him
just
or
to
get a
have
better
just to
time
enjoy or
or
whatever.
enjoy. Yeah, like
It's
it,
there's different crews. And I just feel like there is with the younger generation, there is a dwindling amount of those people who want to be on those tracks. And I think, I mean, it's money, right? So the people that own that land in Florida, like if they don't see the return, right?
right,
If that
right.
rent is not high enough, or if they say, hey, we bought this for $10 million.
Right.
For this to make sense for us, rent needs to go up to whatever, $4,000 a month.
Right.
I don't, I'm making up numbers here. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, if the track is like, well, shit, we only bring in $4,600 a month.
Right.
The track either needs to figure out how the fuck to
Yeah,
up their
100%,
attendance and like up their
listen,
income, because like if they're like, well, rent was 3, so like 1,600 buffer, not terrible.
right.
Take a little profit, a little operating costs, we're okay.
Yeah.
But when you cut me down to $600 profits,
Right. No, and I get
like,
that. And don't get me wrong, I completely understand that. But at the same time, that would fall on the racetrack, right? So if they're closing because they just didn't make good decision while owning a track, well, there's nothing really you can do about that, right?
But it's not, that wouldn't even be a decision thing. That would be a, hey, the new owner of the land said, hey, rent is now this much more.
Right. Oh, well, that's true too. Yeah. I mean,
And
if
they don't have the vision, and if it's a short turnaround, if they're like January 1st, it's going to be this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we can't like invent fucking 300 more people coming here every month by January.
And like, I will say this, like, to me, it's like, what I don't understand is owning a racetrack, especially owning one since like the 60s or the 70s, and you don't own the land. That I'll never understand.
Man,
that I'll never understand, because I would own
land ownership is such a fucking weird thing to me. I'll be honest.
Because I would definitely own that land if I own a fucking giant racetrack on it that could potentially have the potential at some point to somebody tell me, oh, we're going to increase your rent on our land. No, thank you.
Dude, I've got so many thoughts about land ownership. Like I have concerns and conflicts about the concept of land ownership. So like, I own this property, except I don't. I'm leasing it from the city. That's why I gotta pay them taxes every month.
Yeah. So
yes, like I'm leasing this land.
Yes, you could say that you don't truly own your property.
I own this building.
Right.
I own this building.
Yeah, like
but like I can't take it with me, so I have to lease this land.
Sure. Yeah. So like, you could say that nobody really owns their land, because everybody pays
the government
everybody pays taxes on their land. So technically you don't
people
own
not
your
corporations.
Land. Sure. Yeah, of course.
Fucking corporations.
So yes, there is that argument to say, but still, outside of taxes, if you have somebody else that owns your land outside of taxes,
right, outside,
and they're the one that are going to determine if your rent is $3,000 or $25,000,
right,
you should probably never do that again.
Right. That's the other thing. We're also assuming that it's two different entities. Like the previous owner of the land might have been the owner of the track.
That's true.
Sold the whole kit and caboodle, and then the new owner gets to decide what happens with the whole thing.
That's true. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And that's a situation of maybe the old owner was just kind of done. Maybe he was just old and decided, fuck it, I'm done. I got no one to pass this on to. I'm gonna collect my money and go travel the world. And then the new owner is going to be looking at the numbers, and they're going to look at, if I keep doing this is how much money I'm going to make monthly or yearly or whatever. Yeah. Or if I tear this down, put up, the $500,000 to clear the land and clean it off, and then build up a retail center for a Walmart, let's say. Walmart will pay me 3 times as much a year. It depends on what their motivation is. If their motivation is just to own the land and make a little bit of money. Like if this is a side project for them, maybe they'll keep the track. You don't know.
Right.
But if this is like, they put all their money into this, and this is like, this needs to be a profit machine, it's not good for people like us who enjoy the track, but like, that's as a business decision. Like,
and listen, I 100% agree with that. And in that scenario,
but I can't imagine that in fucking Miami area, there's not more tracks.
I mean, listen, there are some, but not when it comes to like actual road racing tracks, not as much. There are drag strips and there are patches of pavement that are used like a track. But there are no they're not when it comes to actual road racing, there isn't.
Well, that's a
And
shame.
that's the big problem, right?
But I guess it
So
was mostly swampland. So
right, yeah,
there's not that
exactly.
much solid land to put a fucking
Right. I mean, listen,
concrete on.
and I get that, but at the same time, like if there
I
is
watched
a
Dexter.
yeah, right. If like for instance, Black Hawk Farms, one of my favorite tracks, it's an Illinois track. It's about hour and a half away.
Yeah.
It's been there from what I understand, like 1965. Like if people decide to build more of that area and try to kick that track out, well, that's a dick move, right? Like if that owner has to sell because now he's getting complaints that his track's too loud or some shit like that, and the city's now forcing them to essentially close down. Well, that's a dick. That's on you. Like
I mean,
that's
that's a dick move, but it's also, I mean, it's weird. It's we talked about this before. I've always seen the fucking two sides of every argument. Like, if a new demographic is moving into the area and they have different sensibilities and they have different interests, and they, the new mayor, maybe the new mayor is not a
sure,
fucking person who likes tracks.
sure.
Maybe they vote someone in who's like, man, I don't really give a shit about the track, and then, and not even that he doesn't like it, just doesn't care, like
Right. He
not
just
one,
doesn't care. No, I get
one
it.
way or the
Not
other.
one way or another. Right. Yeah, I
And
get you.
then the new people that move in are like, man, this track's really loud. It's, or they're like, oh, these are fucking dangerous or whatever the fuck bullshit people come up with.
Then listen, I will say this much. Then we're gonna be back in the 19, what is it, 30s, 40s, where we made everything a racetrack.
Look, there's a stretch in it's like just west of South Elgin. I always forget the name of that town, but there's a stretch. It's got beautiful straightaways.
Hey man.
You could do like 3 back-to-back quarter miles. I swear to God,
Hey, see what I
beautiful
mean?
straightaways.
Everything can be a everything
the,
can be a
the only reason
racetrack.
I know that is one of my former friends, one of my college pals, if you will. He had a fucking, I don't even know, it was like an old ass Mercury that was like direct fuel injected or something like that. So like it wouldn't slow down when you let off the gas. It was something weird. Um, and he would just gun it. And
Right.
I don't really blow the fucking speed limits and shit like that. So like I don't really try to test that shit.
Right.
This dude maxed out his, granted, this was like an 85 car, so like 86 was this fucking max. But he
Right.
maxed out his fucking speedometer on this back road
Yeah.
between all these fucking cornfields and shit. And I was like, dude, this car's gonna explode. What are you doing?
I mean, yeah, I mean that's, and you'll see, you keep taking away racetracks, that's you're going to see more of that. And it's not that we want to purposefully do that, it's just you're making it very hard for us to do it in a manner of not bothering you. So
I guess, man. It's
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's ever gonna get to that serious of a situation, but
I mean,
that's
listen,
just a
I
shame.
hope
If they
not.
do shut that down, in Miami, that sucks.
Yeah, hopefully
Especially if
that
there's not a
doesn't
lot of
go
other
through.
options. Especially if there's
Yeah.
not a lot of other options. Because, or alternatively, I hope someone sees that and sees a opportunity if that does shut down, build something new, build something modern, some, I don't know, some sort of like, $4.99 a month app thing. I don't know. Come up with some new shit. You know what I'm saying? Give me a
Yeah, but
subscription model where I could just show up and do it.
here's the thing,
You know,
like,
in on track purchases. Like
but here's
you
the
want your
thing,
time
but that
recorded, it's an extra
right,
35 cents.
but here's the thing, right? Then we go back into like, but why would somebody want to do it if they know they're going to be shut down in 10 years?
Right, that's the thing. It's a huge upfront cost, and if it is something that, and that's the other thing. We talked about this off pod before, but like they're directing their energies. The people who are trying to get this whole, that's not 5,000 steps. I'm sitting here and just moving my house. Um, the people who are like the EPA and people who are trying to like and I hesitate to say performative because I feel that people are trying to make a difference and trying to do positive things in terms of climate.
Right.
But it feels like when you attack, especially when you spend so much fucking energy and time on something so small, on such a small part of the fucking puzzle,
Yeah.
um,
Because one
it
thing I didn't.
feels performative. It feels
Yeah,
like, oh, we're just going to try to knock this out because that's like easy,
that's
and that will
easy,
be
and
a
then we can,
win for
and then
the
we can,
environment.
yeah, and then we can say we've done something. And
Right.
here's the thing: the other argument that I didn't really point out when we were talking about the EPA and them going after such a small community, when in comparatively speaking, like, is it relevant to the air and the environment compared to other things? Um, the other thing I didn't really like during our conversation off of the podcast that I didn't really talk about a lot is that a lot of these race cars, they're not driven daily. Shit, they might not even be driven weekly. They
Right.
might be just at the track because that's what they're used for, right?
Right. I mean, like your 240, right? Your 240 is not a
That
daily
240
driver by
that
fucking far.
240 will never be a daily driver, neither will be the Talon. They're literally going to be cars when I want to do something specific with them.
Right.
That's it. So, like, to say that, like, you can't do this or that, which this is a tangent now, and this is where we get into our tangent. Um, you know, that's the dumb move. Is like, and I agree with you. I think it's just like, oh, we've done something. We went after these people,
Right.
but you didn't do anything. Like
Right.
any
It's
actual
not a
changes of
it's not a significant win. It's not gonna move the needle what we need. Like it's not gonna move that needle that we need to move by 2050
right.
or 2040 now. I don't it's getting closer and closer. All I know is
Yeah,
we
I know,
shitting
right?
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to pivot, speaking of cars that aren't being driven a lot, I found this. This was a news article that was sent to me. So I'm gonna record my screen here so I can share this with those who watch the podcast later. Um, this blew me away. A fully original 1990 Honda CRX for sale with just 10 miles on the clock.
Okay, so
What an
I'm
insane,
it
like,
is
what an
and it's
insane
absolutely
thing.
insane that somebody hasn't driven this car, um
And this is a
which is,
driving car. I mean, it's a
yeah,
Honda
which is which
Civic.
is which is a damn shame, because, like, manufacturers will say this all the time. Even Porsche's done it, Ford's done it. They build these cars to be used for what they were made for. So it is a shame. I get it. There's all types of automotive enthusiasts, but I will never understand this. However, let me ask you this. You're a car, you like cars, but you're not like
Yeah.
me, right? So, in your personal opinion, if
Mhm.
you saw, like, oh shit, super clean, never driven Honda CRX, what would you pay for that?
What would I?
Yeah,
Oh
like
man. Okay.
genuine, just
Okay.
looking
So
at what the car is, not how
considering,
the market
okay, so
is.
me
Just,
considering what I feel like a Civic slash CRX would be worth,
yeah,
uh, if it was like I've got money and I see this car, because I've driven one of these, dude. The first car I ever stalled out was like an '89 CRX,
yeah,
so
yeah.
like
I it
I've
wasn't,
got a
yeah, it
little
wasn't,
emotional
wasn't.
connection to it.
Didn't I drive your guy's CRX? I think I
Yeah, yeah,
did.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, down here.
Richie's.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's the car I stalled out.
yeah.
The
I
day he
loved it.
got it, he
Yeah,
threw me the keys. He's like, "Go
yeah.
try it
I
out."
loved it,
I
dude.
had never driven manual before that.
After he let me drive that, like, that's when I realized my real passion for racing was after driving that car.
Oh
So,
wow, that's cool.
yeah,
I man, I would say to me, because effectively this is a new car. There are cars on lots that are brand new that have less mileage.
right, right. They
Um,
have more mileage, you mean?
I mean, yeah, that have more
Yeah,
mileage. Yeah,
yeah,
there are cars
literally,
on the lot that
literally.
have been driven for 30 miles
Yeah,
or
even
40 miles.
50. Some of them
Yeah,
are shit at even a couple hundred. So
I would still say for a brand new 1990 CRX, I wouldn't pay more than like 15 grand.
I 100% agree. And cars are my life. Literally, I think I would be dead without cars due
Like
to my
15 grand is
mental,
absolutely the most I would pay.
yeah, due to my depression. Without cars, I think I would have been dead already. And so knowing that that's how much cars mean to me, I maximum 15. But even then I would be like, it's a fucking
15 if it
Honda.
were here, dude. It's in fucking Portugal.
Right. I'm saying, like, I gotta fucking bring that shit over, you know?
Yeah.
So
In Portugal, I'd pay 10.
that's what I'm saying. Like, but
Like if
you
I'm
know,
going
but
over
you
there,
know
it's like
what's
10
dumb?
grand. I
You
would
know
make
what's
that my Europe car. I'd pay 10 for it,
but
and I'd store it in Bosnia.
this is what humans have done. They've ruined this industry for humans that don't make a lot of money, because this car is 100% guaranteed going to sell over $100,000.
Let's see. According to the advert, let's pull up the advert.
It's price on is only available if you contact them. So they don't even give you a price. Yeah, I'm telling you, this car will sell for over $100,000.
Most certainly the lowest mileage CRX anywhere in the world, without question.
Yeah, without a doubt. 10
Without
miles,
question.
like it's not even.
Without question. I mean,
It's not even a
and I just thought
debate.
it was a thing that came up, and I was like, that's gonna be cool for the pod. Like I'm gonna bring that up for the pod.
But let's be real. I mean, somebody who literally has admitted that they would die without cars, right? Without the passion of
Right.
cars, I would have died. I even would be hesitant. And if I had all the money in the world, if I was filthy rich, like let's say I grew up the way I did, but now I became rich, right? Now
Yeah.
I got the money. So I'm still thinking the way I think. Like my mentality hasn't changed. I still wouldn't want to pay. Like I would be hesitant 15 grand because, like you said, it's in fucking Portugal. So I would probably give him I'd be like, listen, man, I got to get that thing over here. I'll give you like 8.
Right.
It's probably going to
There's
cost me 7.
There's just a whole lot to it.
Like it's a Honda CRX. Like it's from 1990, so it's older materials being used, way more fragile materials, way more rust prone materials. Why would I pay for that?
Yeah, to me, like
Just because it's
I
old?
would even only consider the 15 if it was like climate control kept in storage.
Right. Which I'm sure
Like not just the garage.
Right.
Storage, climate control storage.
At the end of the day, man, like that's the stuff I don't understand. Like to me, like it's cool. It's cool. Like the fact that there is a CRX out there available that has 10 miles on it and it's clean is amazing. But the fact that it's going to probably sell for something absurd amount of money, not amazing. To me, that's a waste of a car. To me, you're ruining the industry for other people. And that's the problem, right? We go to this all the time. We see it in everything that we do in life. It's not just cars, it's everything we do. People are selfish. People will ruin the world or an industry because because they want to say something is worth something when it's not, or in that
I
sense.
mean,
Like,
I think it's just a collector market because I've been looking at a lot of especially lately. I had joined. I left them since because it really wasn't bringing anything to me. But I was in a couple like comic book collector groups on Facebook, and it's the collector mindset. They were not talking about like how to enjoy comic books.
Right. They were talking about
how to maximize profits.
Right.
How to like which key books they need to buy in order to, so for me, somebody who's buying this is somebody who is like a Honda head, who has had every Honda or has like a fleet of fucking Hondas, and they've got money and they are buying it to be able to say that they have a 1990 CRX with 10 miles on it. They're not buying it to drive it. Because I would buy it to beat the shit out of it.
Dude, I'd buy it to change the wheels, change the engine.
I would drop
seats.
bigger wheels on it. And I would just do dirty shit with it during the snow.
Dude,
just dumb dirty shit with it during the snow.
Like well, here's the thing. I wouldn't during the snow, but I'd definitely beat the shit out of it. But like there would be no reason for me to want to do that to the snow, because knowing that it's clean, why make it purposely
That's
not clean.
honestly, it's the kind of car I would want to rip around in the snow.
And when I say clean, I don't mean just dust particles. I'm talking about like rust.
Yeah, rust
Like
proof.
there's no
Yeah,
rust.
no
Yeah,
damage shit like that.
yeah, none of that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm going to talk about that. But let's get out of the car stuff and let's talk about something different.
All right.
I got one for you.
You got one for okay.
I got another. Well, I guess I got another one. I already had one. Here's another one. So I keep opening a new tab in, Firefox and in Chrome, and you get similar stories that get thrown in your face. And one of those stories happens to be, how seriously should we take Jon Stewart? Just as seriously as you did when he had the Daily Show. Not that seriously. Even he's fucking said it. He's said it multiple times on the Daily Show.
I don't really understand.
You're not supposed
question.
to take this.
Yeah, he's a comedian. Now, granted, he is. He has taken the last like several years and his current show on Apple TV.
Yeah.
He's bringing light to subjects. He's putting a comedic perspective on them, but he's talking about shit that is like ridiculously important. I mean, like
100%. Yeah, 100%. But
he's going to bat damn near every year, every 3 years, however often they need to renew the 9/11 bill. He goes to bat for those people.
Yeah,
every
100%.
time.
No. Yeah, 100%. And what I'm saying though is like when it comes to his show, he's always said it's comedy first and then news. And he's always said, don't ever take me seriously when it comes to this show, because yes, even though what I say, even though he says it in a joking manner,
right?
Like he does believe the shit he says, but the way he says it shouldn't be taken seriously because he's trying to make fun of what's going on. You should be taken seriously when it's a proper conversation. So like even he said, don't take me that seriously when he was on the Daily Show. And his new show on Apple TV is exactly what the Daily Show was when he was on it.
I would say it's a little different only because I've only seen the one episode, the first episode. So it seems, at least from that first episode, that it's more, here is this one thing that we are talking about. We are talking about it from a couple different perspectives. I am using my Jon Stewartness to get in front of people who are higher up on the food chain.
But I mean, it's still considered a news comedy hybrid. And because it's considered a news comedy hybrid, you should still take it with a grain of salt. Like, yes, the issue he's bringing up is legitimate. He has valid views. But if you're looking at his comedy points as valid views versus the other parts of the conversation, then you don't know how to read the situation and you shouldn't then take it seriously whatsoever.
I mean, a perfect example is last week tonight with what's his face? I always forget his damn name.
What is that? Last week tonight?
I always forget his damn name. Holy shit.
John Oliver.
John Oliver, thank you. So yeah, John Oliver is a great example. Last week tonight is especially. He presents these like really poignant stories, important stories, shit that no one talks about, shit no one thinks about, shit that is just ridiculous.
Right.
And then he will kick in like a comedy bit. He will kick in, challenging New Jersey, a city in New Jersey, to name their sewage plant after him. And the news picks up on that thing.
Right.
The news focuses on this comedy bit as opposed to
versus the actual issue.
This episode was about the fact that you can't vote in some places in this country,
and that's the same thing. And that's the same thing they do with Trevor Noah, and they used to do with Jon Stewart, and I'm sure they're going to do with Jon Stewart now that he's back.
Dude,
is they're going to focus on the comedy bits.
The show has been fucking weird lately.
Oh, has it? I haven't been watching it.
He had this. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he seems to be still involving like guests. But like every episode, somebody would just like interrupt the episode, and then there's just this whole awkward thing. And I think it was something about like they were trying to make him laugh. I think it was like a running gag that they were trying to make him laugh, but it was like, it wasn't funny. It was so fucking awkward to watch. I'm like watching and he's like talking about an important thing. And then it's like this dude comes in the room and he's like trying to like pick a book up off the fucking display in the background. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now?
So it's like what you're saying is that it's beyond dry humor.
It's dude the driest fucking humor. It's so dry.
It's
Like
so
he went up
dry.
there. He's like, I noticed your book's not up here. He's like, why would I have my own book up there? But like the thing he was talking about before that whole fucking side bit was important.
Right.
And I
No,
just
I
don't.
got
I
you.
didn't get it. I didn't get it at all.
I
Man.
mean, that's that
So
dry
fucking
humor,
weird.
man. That's that
So
super
fucking
dry
weird.
humor. But that being said, like that's the news.
Yeah,
Let's
but
be real. The
with,
news is going to focus on the wrong thing versus the right thing
yeah.
because
I mean,
that's the news.
that's kind of been the fucking point.
Because talk about
I'm waiting
the
for them all to do like one
oh yeah, right,
crossover special
yeah, a
where they
full
all talk about
crossover
the fact
special. They
like,
probably
hey,
will.
we've been running this experiment for fucking 10 years. All you motherfuckers talk about is the dumb shit, not the important shit we talk about.
Right. No, 100%, man. I mean, because at the end of the day, right? How does this world work? Well, it works especially here in the States, it works in a sense of manner as in let's focus on the stupid shit versus the actual real problem because the stupid shit is more controversial and
Right.
that sells.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's
the
true.
fuck? Like, holy shit,
Very
man.
true.
And I mean, but that's, to me, it's real simple. If you can actually read the situation properly, then take him seriously. If you're only focused on the comedy bit and you're not actually paying attention to the issues bringing a hand, then don't take him seriously at all. Those are my.
In this last Sunday's episode of Last Week Tonight, he's got this running bit. I don't even know how it started, but he's got this running bit that when he snaps his fingers, he calls up George Clooney, like he summons George Clooney from wherever the fuck he's at. So they just cut in this video of George Clooney.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's funny. So he's talking about homelessness,
right?
Like a very fucking important,
very,
and then he snaps his fingers, and George Clooney's
topic.
there, and it's like, if you're watching and you're like, oh man, that whole thing with George Clooney going to trick or treat on his own without his kids, that was funny. You missed the whole show.
You missed everything else. you missed literally the entire part that was actually relevant. You missed it. Like, don't get me wrong. You should find, how can I put this? The comedy bit should lighten things up for you. It should, make you smile. But if that comedy bit makes you forget the fact that there was a big issue they talked about, then you shouldn't watch that show.
Right.
Or at least not watch it for what you think you're watching it for.
If you are so easily distracted by the comedy in these shows, you absolutely should
100%
be watching something else.
100%.
Because you need to be watching something that's strictly serious, strictly presenting the information as it is. Yeah. I mean, that honestly, at that point, you're limited to the way I see it from my perspective, Philip DeFranco.
100%.
I have to find anybody else that has like an even keel representation of
100%. I love Phil, and I will say this until for some reason he changes. He always delivers the news the way it is. He says, "Here is my opinion."
Right.
If he does mention an opinion about a story, he says my personal opinion. So this is just his opinion, not what the story is or some bullshit like that. Some way you can mix up what's happening. And that's why I love him, because he delivers you the news. You hear the news for what it is via facts. Here are the facts that are presented right now about this issue.
Right.
You can then voice your opinion about that. He says leave it in the comments or whatever. And that's how you should present the news. How he does it is how you should present the news. Here are the facts. Not like, here, I'm going to give you facts that are not actual facts. I just wanted to put this shit in to confuse you, make you believe these are facts, because maybe I even now believe that they're facts because I told them to myself so many times now that they might actually be facts, even though they're not. No, that's not news. That's bullshit. That's dumb shit. That's a waste of time. And the fact that we allowed the news to be like this is fucking absurd, man. It's fucking absurd.
Agreed.
Speaking about news and speaking about confusion, I have one more for you.
Okay.
You might have wanted.
You came packed tonight.
I came packed. Well,
look, I keep a list. I
know, and this might actually be on your list right now, but I'm gonna bring it up.
All right.
So, you've told me, I wasn't aware, that there is a confusion about the Morbius trailer.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Is that on your list? Tell me.
I didn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Oh,
I forgot about that. I forgot about it because I thought it was so stupid.
It's super stupid.
I remember when the first trailer dropped fucking 2 years ago at this fucking point.
Right.
When they first dropped the first trailer, they were like, "Wait, is that fucking Toby Spider-Man?" And it really does look like Toby Spider-Man.
Sure.
It looks like the webs are like,
Sure. Yeah.
sticking out.
100%. Yeah.
I get it. But at the
Sure.
same time, it's nighttime. It's a poster. So like, is it a drawing someone made of
Right. It
Spider-Man?
could have been a drawing. Could have
like,
been.
where did they get this photo from?
Listen.
If this is MCU Spider-Man,
Right.
There's no reason for us to believe that someone would just have a photo of Spider-Man.
Right.
That photo.
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so here's how I'll put it. And this is, I'm just going to read off what I wrote in that post where they showed off how confusing it is. So the controversies are going to be mentioned in my response, everybody who's listening and watching. Here we go. Rhino and Oscorp being shown just means they're acknowledging their existence before they show them on actual screen for the new universe.
And they don't even say that it's the Rhino. It just says Rhino escape. It's like Escape Rhino. It was like a zoo.
Yeah, for sure. But listen, even if we take it as it's Rhino, the Rhino, that's the answer. There's nothing else. There's no debate. Don't sit here and be like, but couldn't it be? Of course it could. It could be a whole new universe. It doesn't matter. Here's the answer. These are the answers. I don't even have to talk to anybody to get you these answers. And I don't know why the extra picture of there was 2 pictures of the newspaper.
One was focusing on the Rhino,
and then one said the amazing
because they were saying the Black Cat was more for Amazing Spider-Man, but like, why wouldn't Black Cat be for the first one?
So that means Black Cat might be coming into, which is great. She should be. Okay,
man, that's going to be an interesting way to.
Now you pointed out there's an image of Spider-Man that says murderer, and the image looks like it might be Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Here's my answer to that. Holland Spider-Man is considered a murderer as per commercials of the new movie, so that makes sense. So seeing the fact that it says splattered murderer, right now a lot of people consider him to be a murderer because he killed
yeah, because there's really not, if that is supposed to be Raimi's Spider-Man, who did he murder?
I guess Goblin, but nobody knew that except for the son, for Osborn. So
and he eventually learned.
And then he eventually learned,
because of his dickwad fucking butler.
Now here's the answer to the suit. As to the suit they show, all that means is he has another suit that we haven't seen him wear. He's already worn a few different ones within the movies. So just because we haven't seen a suit doesn't mean that wasn't a suit that somebody caught him in at some point.
Right.
Now, Venom will tie in Holland's Spider-Man after his Spider-Man movie comes out.
I gotta go see this movie.
It's all about the fucking multiverse.
I gotta go see this movie because supposedly thankfully I have not seen the post credits.
Yeah, for sure.
I have not read anything detailed.
Right.
The only thing I read was something that it like may hint towards
100%
crossover with the MCU.
100%.
That's the only thing that I know.
Yeah, for sure.
But
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I do want to add to that last part before, and I will say this also. And they are also going to be doing Kraven because they've announced the actor, which is the guy that acted Quicksilver in the MCU. So what's his name? He's going to be Kraven the Hunter. All right. But let me add to that
really
part.
Young and like pretty boy Kraven.
Yeah, but I mean, he can grow a full, like,
it's gonna be a fake beard. He can't grow that beard.
No, he can. There's images of him that has like a decent like goatee. But here, let me add this to the Venom thing. So we know Morbius says I'm Venom, and he's like, kidding, I'm Dr. Morbius. So like,
I take it back.
See,
geez, that's Kraven. Holy shit.
Yeah, 100%. See.
Jesus Christ, dude!
I told
that's
you,
gotta be. They've already got to be filming then. Because
I think so. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think they are. So the answer to Venom also can be simple as this: they just never mentioned Spider-Man. Venom was about Venom. Just because they never mentioned Spider-Man doesn't mean he's not in Spider-Man's world.
No. The Venom thing to me, the Venom thing can be easily explained
Oh,
without question.
100%.
Because if you look at movies like Thor 2, we never talked about like, there was
100%.
a
Yeah.
brief mention of New
Yeah.
York.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Iron Man or Captain
Dude,
America.
we
Like,
never talked about Thor bringing a whole alien race ship, dropping it on Earth. Like, we never talked about that after Thor. After that ship dropped on Earth, we only brought it up in Agents. I think it was Thor 2 when that ship comes to Earth. When that ship comes to Earth, like, we never mentioned it after that, except
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so like
the stuff
like,
does not need to be directly
just because they
referential
didn't
to be in the
mention
same
Spider-Man
universe.
and Venom doesn't mean this isn't in Spider-Man's world.
Supposedly, by the way, supposedly, and I really, this is why I said, give me the first trailer of something and just fucking let it ride.
Oh yeah,
Don't
100%.
give me fucking 15 trailers, because we are losing the magic of movies.
Yeah.
Because everyone's
right.
like, what's his face? Tobey Maguire might be in it, Andrew Garfield might be in it. And now supposedly, again, this is all rumors still,
Sure.
but like, supposedly the next trailer is being delayed because one studio, like Marvel and Sony, or like Disney and Sony, are like debating, because one of them, they didn't say who, but one of them wants to put Toby and Andrew in the trailer,
and the other one
doesn't. But I'm like, don't give me any more trailers.
Yeah, don't give me any more
trailers. This trailer that we already have,
we've had plenty of trailers.
Just keep playing it over and over and over again.
First of all, we have 2 Morbius trailers. One a really long one, and one that was kind of quick.
Yeah,
just that's it. No more.
I'm good.
I do not need any more.
I guess I
just do a bunch of ads behind this newest trailer to get people's attention, so you can make money on it.
Cut different shit out of this trailer, not out of more out of the movie. Out of this trailer.
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb. Like, to me, honestly, like, when I saw the clip from Black Adam from Fandom, I was like, cool, I'm sold.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
I don't like. I was, dude. First of all, I was like, I'm going to theater to see this movie.
Listen, if
whereas
you don't
for
follow
like the Batman,
Rock,
I'm waiting for HBO
The
Max.
Rock on Instagram or Facebook, you're doing yourself a disservice, because I was going to say the justice, but it's a disservice, because honestly, you don't even need to see these trailers. He just talks about it all the time. Like, he doesn't give you spoilers, but he keeps telling you he's doing it. He shows you some like shots of the suit or what he might look like in it, and that's all you need to know to go watch it,
dude. All that, the little clip from the beginning, which is apparently from the beginning of the movie where he's first introduced, is all I need to know.
Oh, 100%.
I needed to know that he was going to look badass, which to me he already looks badass.
Yeah, 100%.
And that he was going to murk people, and he aced that dude. He obliterated that dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. That is everything I need from a Black Adam movie for me to be interested and 100%. For me to be excited to go see it in the theater. Yeah. I am actually excited to go see it in the theater. I'm going to see it in the theater.
Absolutely,
I saw
man.
Fucking 3 trailers for the Batman now, and I still only want to watch it on HBO Max. There's the difference. There's the difference.
Yeah.
Because, like,
don't get me wrong. Like, here's the thing.
I'm kind of sick of, like, realistic, gritty Batman. I'm kind of
that's the thing, right? So I like how it looks, but I don't like it to the point where I want to go watch it in the theater.
Yeah.
Because, 2 reasons. One, you and I have completely already countless times talked about our distrust and any kind of prayer for WB and what they're doing. Like, they don't whatever the fuck you want to, they don't know what they're doing.
There's no direction.
And so because of that alone, it's hard to want to go support a movie, even if it's a person that you love that's in, or even a whole cast that you love that's in the movie. It's hard to want to support him just for that. But also, I 100% agree with you. The fact that I just recently shared an article with you in our Facebook group, and it said this is going to be the most emotional Batman movie you ever seen, red flag. Because you and I already had issues with Ben Affleck's Batman being very emotional.
Speaking of which, I want you on an episode of Panels on Pages, because I want to talk about that whole emotional Batman. I have a whole thing.
That's fine. That's fine.
Canon.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
You got it. But so, like, knowing that's, and also,
and they came out and said, they're like, oh, it's not a superhero movie. No, that's not what we want. We want it to be a superhero movie.
Yeah, in fact, we want a superhero movie.
Like,
in fact,
that's
it's Batman. I'm watching it because, listen, Bruce Wayne's fun, but Batman's the one I want, right? Bruce Wayne's fun. Batman is the one
I
I'm here
wouldn't.
for.
I don't even. I'm not. I wouldn't even be mad at Batman or Bruce Wayne, because here's the thing. I will say this, and this is something many people, not just someone, but many people have brought up. But like this dark, gritty Batman, where Batman is the real person and Bruce Wayne is the costume. That's like the thing a lot of people bring up.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
It's a good take. It's an interesting take. It makes him dark. It makes him brooding. But that's not how he originally was.
Right.
Like, that's not how they originally wrote him. He had a fiance in the first like 30 issues of
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, yeah, no, 100%, man. Like Batman for the longest time, I don't give a fuck. You can even argue that's not accurate, even for the animated series, because even in the animated series, Batman was the costume.
Yeah,
yes,
that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. The best ever Batman was in the animated series. It brought together like a lot of the dark shit, because I mean there were some episodes. Somebody just recently posted a thing about I don't know if you remember this, but there was the episode where it was the former child star who had like a degenerative disease that she couldn't grow, so she turned like villain because she was this tiny baby with like a woman's mind. She was like
right. Yeah.
And she went crazy, but it was this like deep introspective fucking jacked up episode.
Yeah.
But like end of the day, it was still a fun Batman episode.
100%.
But like you got that, but you also got like Bruce going on dates.
Yeah.
Because like Bruce was still trying to live a normal life.
I will argue both. I will argue this. They're both the man. He has his grittiness, right? His darkness, because that will never go away. That will always be part of him. But he also has the part where he can love, where he can show compassion, where he can have fun. He is both. And the costume is the Batman. If he didn't need a costume to protect others, he would be Bruce Wayne the whole time.
Right. And I think actually what's funny is I've been wondering myself why people have been, this is like a whole eye-opening thing. I've been wondering why people have been like doing a lot of these fanfics, and they do a lot of this like headcanon stuff where they talk about Batman and the Bat family as more of like a family unit, and they have fun and they joke around and they play baseball and shit like that. Whereas I'm like, whatever, like do the Batman shit. But that's why, because the books have been so hardcore focused on showing this dark, gritty Batman who like barely shows that he gives a shit about people. Right. Like he like cares in like the worst fucking ways.
Right.
Like, oh, I bugged your whole house, so that's why I was able to come here and save you. That's not
right.
Love.
Let's talk about the
illegal wiretapping. What the fuck are you talking about?
But no, but like you're right. That's how he shows.
Yeah, he shows he cares about like trying to overprotect people.
Overprotect, because he's been through such a shitty thing in his life that he doesn't, whatever he can do to prevent that, even if it's not letting you know.
I mean, shit, he resurrected his son.
I'm saying, dude.
From
I'm like, listen,
he was so, like, that
yeah, no,
dark.
for sure, 100%. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. Like, and here's the thing. To me, this will always be true. You tell me, hey, The Rock is doing this superhero. Sold. I don't care. I don't need nothing else.
You know what's funny? Actually,
Dwayne The Rock Johnson is doing this superhero movie. I'm in. Don't show me nothing else. Then you come up to me and you're like, Robert Pattinson's doing this favorite superheroes. Probably not. Streaming. Yeah, I'll stream it. I'll give him his view on the show.
What's funny is that I disagree with you, but I don't know why. I talked about this on this week's episode of Panel of Pages, which will be going on tomorrow. But I don't have that association with like a specific person. Like I was talking about, there's been this whole thing in comics where certain like big name quote unquote creators are like, they're doing their own thing. They're starting their own projects outside of Marvel.
Great.
And people and news places are like, oh my God, like they're jumping ship. They're abandoning Marvel. They're abandoning DC. And it's like people are taking this as some sort of like collapse of the major publishers. And I was like, that's not, these companies don't rely on these like 1, 2, 3, 5 big names. That's not how business works.
Yeah.
And A,
First of
and
all,
B,
let me put
like
it
these
this way
people
real quick.
can get to
Let me
do
just
other shit.
Yeah, but let me just say this: like, nobody's jumping ship. Marvel and DC are literally just using shit that's already there. These people who have created these stories
Right.
they don't need them to be there to make those stories on these big screens. But those people who are creating those stories, they can still step back and be like, okay, well, I'm going to make my own. And even if it's not on a big screen and it's just on a streaming service, I still get to make it my way.
Right. Exactly.
And it doesn't affect anything.
Exactly. And that was part of the big thing I brought up. But I was like, as much as I love Jonathan Hickman, who is currently like the architect of the X-Men stuff, and I've loved his shit, and I loved his Avengers run before this.
Right.
This has been my favorite X-Men run of all fucking time, dude.
Hey man, that's huge coming from you.
When they were like, oh, Jonathan Hickman is leaving, he's gonna leave the X-Men and go do his own thing. I was like, okay, pitch me.
Yeah.
What's the sales pitch? I wasn't like, oh, I'll fucking follow him to the fucking ends of the earth.
Well, yeah, 100%, because you're not sure if they're gonna do.
I don't know the sales pitch.
Yeah, you don't know the sales. You don't know what they're doing. Right
now.
But I'm saying
I was super sold right off the bat because his whole thing was like in his first email, even to the people who aren't paying. So like the people who are just like kind of following along.
Yeah.
His whole thing was, hey, we're doing this kind of like we're building this world. You guys get to see the whole thing being built. You can input, like you can feedback on shit we're doing. And I was like, oh, that's my shit. Like process, like how you build this whole unit. That's my shit.
Yeah.
Like literally, he sent out like 6 fucking emails back to back where it was like, this is this one fucking prison thing,
right?
With like sketches and the colors and all.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, this is 100%.
Well, let me put it this way. When I say like somebody tells me, hey, The Rock's doing your favorite superhero, and I'm sold, like I am sold, but here's why.
But like if he was doing Spider-Man, I'd be curious.
Well, 100%. I'd be questioning it a little bit.
I'd need to see a trailer.
I'm like, is he gonna drop 200 pounds? Like, what are we saying here? But because and also at the same time, not just that, but he's made movies that aren't good. They're okay, right? They're entertaining, but they're not good. They're not good. Like Rampage is a great example. That wasn't a good movie. It was okay. It was fun watching a big. It was it was watching kind of King Kong, kind of.
It was fine.
You know,
like it was.
Yeah, it was fine.
I didn't think it was.
But the
great,
problem was
but
like I don't think the visuals weren't good. Right? They weren't great. Let me rephrase that. They were okay. They were all right. I've seen worse.
Could have been better. Could have been worse.
The writing, meh.
Yeah.
The writing
it was kind of a cookie cutter action movie.
Yeah, it was just like hey, we're bringing you a beast movie.
Enough. It was entertaining enough. That's what I can say about it.
That's what I'm saying. Enough. So I'm not saying the man's like nailed everything he's done, but going off of how because I'm fairly certain I've watched every Rock movie. If I haven't, my bad, but I'm pretty sure I have. I've watched I've watched a lot of Robert Pattinson now just to change my mind on what I believe he is as an actor, how he is as an actor. He's done good. Like I will point this out. I thought he did really good in Netflix's movie with Tom Holland. It was like, let me see here.
I didn't know that they had a movie together.
Yeah, they did. It was because you didn't hear about him being in it. You heard about Tom Holland being in it, but it was the Devil All the Time.
Oh, I think I've seen the frame.
So he's in there as a minister or as a reverend or whatever.
Interesting.
He does now it could be a little bit because I just don't like him as an actor, so like it's
your bar is really low,
right? But it could be also that little bit of that dislike blending in with his acting to make me dislike this character. But he did a good job, right? He did, in my opinion, he did a good job making me really not like that character,
right?
But I've watched other things that he was in. And honest to God, after watching them, I can't say that he did good. Like he did okay, but compared to like when I hear somebody's going to be doing a Batman, I need them to be good, right? The reason I need them to be good because I need them to bring justice to the character, right? They need
Sure.
to properly portray that character. And even though there's so much references to him and it shouldn't be hard to do, we've seen plenty of people fuck shit up, right? And it also needs to be somebody who can fight for the role, right? They might be able to go in and do a role, but if they don't fight, if they don't tell the director, hey man, I know you're trying to do this vision and stuff, but like, can I just, tell you a little bit on why, like The Rock is gonna go, like when he went in to do um Black Adam, he went in understanding who this character is and what he wanted out of it. And he talked with the producers and he talked with the directors and
Right.
he talked with the fucking company WB, and they got together and they agreed on something they all can like, they all can agree on.
Right. I'm actually
Robert
really interested.
Pattinson, all I've heard is that the fucking director of the Batman, whatever his name is, uh might have shut down production, not because Patterson might have had COVID, but because fucking Patterson wasn't in the right shape. That already tells me you ain't mingling well with your director. If we're fucking lying about stories here to figure out, what the fuck's going on, that tells me you're already not doing so hot when it comes to being in that seat, right? In that seat as an actor, as somebody
Right.
who's trying to bring this character out to life, not just if you're in shape or not, but just how you're handling the situation and everything, how everything's being handled, how you're working with the team. Like, that's already red flags. So like when I hear somebody's going to do a character that I love and that I've cared for in a long time, I need to know that the person that's going in it. So when I heard like The Rock's going to do Black Adam, I was like, yeah, The Rock's going to go in and he's got the right team behind him and he's going to talk about this with people, just like Ryan Reynolds. Like Ryan Reynolds gets flagged for doing Green Lantern, but like he wasn't the problem in Green Lantern. He wasn't the issue.
Right.
How that movie was written, how that movie was directed is an issue,
Right.
but he was not an issue. He did his job. Nobody can say any actor in that movie did a bad job acting.
Right.
You watch that movie, tell me who did a bad job acting. I can't see it. I think everybody did good. Shit, I even think the CG is really good in that movie. But you know what's not good? How they decided to write a fucking the big bad boss, how they decided to portray Hell, right? Not a lot of people were happy with that. The fact that, like, I get it, he's the protector of Earth, so he's going to be on Earth a lot, and that's, for me, that's not a problem. But I want you to show me more other worlds, because he's a guardian of fucking planets, right? Yes, granted, he's the main guardian for this planet, but there are times where he's going to need to protect other planets. He needs
Right.
to go out there. So you should show that. So even the first movie being portrayed on planet Earth, that's fine, as long as the next movie said he's fucking out in outer space, right? He's
Right.
not worried about Earth, because we got Superman, we got Batman, we got plenty of people to worry about Earth. He needs to go do his fucking, planetary shit. So, when you tell me Robert Pattinson is going in as Batman, I had my doubts. And yes, it was some doubts with acting, but it was also some doubts with how he's going to handle that character just in general, not just as an actor being on the screen, but in the background stuff, talking to the director.
I think also a big part of it was the fact that we had a Batman and they were like, oh,
There's that too,
we're doing a new
100%.
Batman
Yeah.
and it has nothing to do with this.
The fact that we had
And
no idea what the fuck was going on.
the thing, and really that's at this point with all DC movies.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
just like rain of shit, right?
Yeah.
It's the lack of direction at the top. It's like Warner Media might be like not might be. I think it's finally official now. They're merging with Discovery. So like they were under AT&T, so now they're going to be under Discovery. So like I think they're going to merge with Discovery. Like, so I think HBO Max and Discovery Plus, they're talking about merging those two things.
Jesus fuck.
And it's just it's this whole state of we don't know what the fuck is going. Not just we don't know what we want to do. we don't know what the fuck is going on. So
Nothing.
top
They know
down,
nothing.
top
Yeah.
down, there's just so much uncertainty. So I think this lack of direction. They don't have a Feige. They've tried a couple times to bring in someone who's a Feige. Shit happens.
Yeah, they definitely don't have a Feige.
They've had bad
Yeah.
shit on
Yeah.
sets, and Jeff Johns, as much as I would have liked him to be the spearhead,
Clearly not.
This was, clearly allowed some shit to happen.
Clearly allowed some shit to happen that I'm pretty sure, like, listen, I can't, knowing what we know now about Whedon,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that it didn't go badly on Avengers sets, but clearly Feige handled it to a point where the cast was still okay, and they got rid of that guy after 2 movies.
Right.
They were like, "You're out." They didn't say why. They just said, "You're out." They made it look like it was something he was done with, but at the end of the day, like,
end of the day, we don't really know what happened.
Yeah, clearly handled better though.
Yeah.
Where with here, clearly not. I mean, you got Ben Affleck saying that the character he's always wanted to portray, he no longer likes playing. What's that about? That doesn't make sense. You got Henry Cavill that doesn't want to even bring up Superman for a while now because nobody, like, he has to continue it, like, not WB, but he has to keep assuring people that he's Superman. And then after a while, he just stopped even saying it because he probably doesn't even know what the fuck's going on. Because he probably wants to be Superman, but because he doesn't know what the studio's doing, he can't answer that question.
Speaking of which, though, I will say I'm excited that we finally have.
I know what you're saying.
That we finally have like details, and we finally have confirmations. I cannot tell you how excited I am for Val Zod.
Well, that's not where I thought you were going. No, I'm kidding. I knew that's where you're going. Like, me too, bro. Me too, man.
And you haven't even read it, dude. I
know.
Love, like, that whole Earth 2 run, like, just the potential.
I know.
Potential of a Val Zod show leading into an Earth 2 series or movie or whatever.
Dude, the potential to open another separate universe, and we get both universes on screen.
And my thing, honestly,
here's the problem.
They need someone
WBB. Yeah,
they need what I'm hoping. What I'm really hoping is that they let Michael B. Jordan take it. They're just since he took this, he was like, I'm gonna do this project.
Listen, all right. So
I hope that they let him take it.
Here's my
thing, because I think he'll at least give it a singular vision.
We've talked this off of this was another conversation we had off of the podcast. I said that I'm not a big fan of the director Cooper, I think, something like that. But then you said, well, did you ever consider that maybe Michael B. Jordan isn't as good of an actor as you would like him to be? And I'm like, yeah, that thought has come by. And I think, here's the thing. Michael B. Jordan has the potential of being one of the greats. He does.
100%.
Is he anywhere near being one of the greats? I don't think he's anywhere near that right now.
No.
And that's not a diss to Michael B. Jordan. That's not not to make him look bad or anything like that. I think he needs to try. I think he needs to do stuff off screen. I think what he needs to do is, like, it's one of those things where it's like you need to be in an audience eye, right, to tell you what's going on, like what you might be needing to adjust. But it doesn't have to be a grandstand audience, right? It doesn't have to be this, like, I'm on Amazon Prime, I'm on the big screen with Marvel, I'm doing something with, like, it should be stuff that, like, not necessarily a lot of people know, but it can help you craft that acting, like, really bring it out.
I think he needs to play something that will force him outside of himself.
I agree, because I think everything we've seen so far has mostly been dramatic. serious, where we haven't really seen him try to be. You're right. It's outside of himself because every time I watch it, I just feel like I'm watching him. Right. I'm not watching a
I don't
different
necessarily feel like I'm watching
character.
him. I think he's just coming at each character from the same perspective. He, at least
Okay.
in my eyes, I don't
Sure.
think he's trying to embody that character from the perspective of that character.
Right.
I think he's trying to embody that character from his own perspective.
Okay.
And that could be fine in some aspects. I think Killmonger was really good. I think the way he approached Killmonger was good. I have no problems with how he approached Killmonger. I thought that his performance in the Tom Clancy movie left a lot to be desired as far as just how he did that role. He did not, because, and I think this might also be because he really does have this kind of youthful look on him. It was
He
hard for me.
does, but
It was hard for me to buy him as this like deeply ingrained, like long-term veteran, top tier fucking assassin squad,
right.
Rainbow Six squad or whatever the fuck it is, SEAL, whatever the fuck squad he was in. Like he was a top tier military operative, and it's just hard for me to believe young people in those roles. Another example is that movie with, was it Benicio Del Toro? Yeah, it was Benicio Del Toro and Tommy Lee Jones. Oh man, it was a long time ago. This was like, we're talking 2004. This was like early Benicio Del Toro. He was just kind of coming up in his own thing. He had been like trained by Tommy Lee Jones into this whole new thing, but it felt like he was a new guy at the job. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He wasn't there to be like the. I mean, look at it this way: if now, granted, there were many problems we had with Gemini Man, but
Yeah,
like
unfortunately.
Will Smith sold me on, this guy's been at this job for forever.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know
hundred
what I mean?
percent,
Like, now
100%.
imagine if Bad Boys 1 Will Smith played that same role.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe that you have this high caliber experience.
Right.
Like if if Speed Keanu played John Wick, hard sell for me. I'm like, Keanu from Speed can't play John Wick. He doesn't have the necessary experience on his face, on his body. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
2020 John Wick, 2020 Keanu plays John Wick and kills the shit out of that role.
Right. Right. For
But
sure.
like 1997 Keanu doesn't do that job. So
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
you're not
thinking
wrong.
like
You're not wrong. If I watched,
2027, 2025, 2027, Michael B. Jordan might be able to do that Tom Clancy role justice. Like, I'm gonna feel like this man's been
right, right,
around,
right. No,
been
I
doing
feel
some
you.
shit.
Here's the thing, though. Yeah, like you said, he did Killmonger well. You have no problems with it, but like to me, I feel like
I just didn't think there was anything else to be added to the
no,
character.
I
I think
got you,
he did a good job
no, I
for
got you,
the
but
material
like
he was given.
to me, like you take how he did that role, you take how he did the role on the Tom Clancy movie, you take how he does the role on Creed, and to me, it's like it's the same guy.
No, I understand what you're saying, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I think he's coming at these roles from his own perspective, as opposed to really
Different perspectives
embodying the role of the character.
of the actual perspective that
Yeah,
it should
where
be.
I think for Killmonger it worked because Killmonger was like a dude of his age
Right,
who
right, no,
grew up
sure,
in
yeah.
America. Like, he didn't really needed a lot of range. He didn't need a lot
No,
of
yeah.
range. But I'll be honest with you, I still didn't have that faith in, I've got, he had like 400, fucking bumps on his body. Like,
Right.
I didn't believe he had 400 kills under him.
At that at how youthful he looks,
Exactly.
I feel what you mean.
Exactly. He didn't, you know, like when Denzel does Training Day, when Denzel does Equalizer,
There's
you
something about
believe
Denzel, man.
you believe that age.
There's something about Denzel that
But
he
Denzel's
just
always had a look where he looks 40 to 50 years old.
always.
Always.
I think he's a robot.
So you go back to any role that Denzel has done, and the only time it looks out of place is when he's playing a young character. Was he in? I think he was in this. Yeah, it was in 1993. Much Ado About Nothing. Much Ado About Nothing is not about old people. And he's a young man in that movie, without question. He's meant to be, I think, the same age as Keanu. But Keanu in Much Ado About Nothing looks very different than Denzel in Much Ado About Nothing. Now, I'm not going to say that I didn't believe his role, like
Yeah. No, I
because
got you.
because it's like a fantasy kind of thing. It's less and it's Shakespearean.
That's
like
funny.
Comes out.
Funny. He does look
Looks
like
older.
he's
Looks way older. He looks at least 10 years older than Keanu, and he's definitely the same age.
huh.
Like
That's
they're meant to be like brothers in arms of the same age. But like even like in this shot, the group shot,
That's the shot I'm looking at.
him and Kenneth Branagh both look like they're 20. They got 20 years on all the other guys. Kenneth Branagh's always looked old.
Which one's Kenneth Branagh?
The guy who to the left with the blonde goatee, big hair.
Well, no, the guy all the way to the right, though, he looks old as fuck. He's like got a receding
that's
hairline.
the funny thing. Yeah, he's got receding hairline and all that shit. But that's the funny thing. I don't even think he's like a big character in the movie. So I never even thought about him. But I mean, like from the people there, because even her, oh my God, I forgot about her. She's even in this movie, she looks like she's got some years on her. I think she was very young back then. What's her face? Where's her name? Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson.
Yeah, she does look older in this movie.
Maybe Emma Thompson's a robot.
I know she looks like almost the same.
I'm pretty sure she looks exactly the same. She does.
She look.
Bro, she's older than my mom would have been. 1959.
And she looks the same.
Robot, without question.
100%.
Fountain of Youth. Fountain of Youth.
Yeah. That's probably what it is. They probably
you get popular in Hollywood. They give you like one taste of like ambrosia. So you get like a little re-up every couple of years.
Yeah.
As long as you don't fuck no kids. As long as you don't
create anything horrible.
Yeah. And they just you get your little taste of ambrosia every year. Fucking shit, man.
But yeah, man, I mean, no, I get what you're saying. I just I don't know. We'll see. I mean, listen, his passion for Velzad is tremendous. He 100% is passionate about it. You know, he's definitely one of those people that I respect in his mentality of how he approached saying like, hey, you're gonna play Superman. He's like, I don't want to play Clark Kent Superman.
Yeah, I don't want to play Black Clark Kent. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah, and I respect him for that. I respect him for that. This is more than anybody.
This is honestly the role that I think is going to give me my final assessment of Michael B. Jordan.
I agree.
Because I think this is such just a fundamentally different character.
Yeah.
Like it just is not the same character. It just isn't.
Yeah.
So it can't be. He's not a dude that grew up in America. I mean, again, they could redo the story, but I think that would be stupid.
Well, that would be stupid.
Because if they redo the story, then it's just Black Clark Kent.
Yeah, it's Black Clark Kent.
So the whole thing for me with Velzad is Velzad's story is that when he landed, he was like he grew up in not in captivity, but like in secret. He was
Right.
hidden away so that the government and I think Darkseid wouldn't find him.
Right. Right.
Like that was the whole thing. So when he came out a grown ass man, essentially with very little social skills because he didn't really hang
Right.
out with a
Yeah.
lot of people.
100%. Yeah.
So that's why I'm really interested to see how they take this, because
And
if
as
they,
I truly hope they keep to that, because that's what's going to make this character interesting.
yeah, because if you
Him
just
being
do,
him being on planet Earth like Clark Kent, that's just going to be
oh,
dumb.
if they, again, if they just say, oh, he landed in a back alley in New York and it's just Clark Kent with a different location.
Yeah, it's
There's
dumb.
no, and then
It's
it's and then
stupid.
it's the same character. Then he's
Yeah.
just,
No, they
it's
really need to play how it is in the comics,
he needs
because
to be
that's really
fundamentally
gonna,
different from Clark Kent.
yeah, 100%, because that's really gonna show off a few things. One, making a character that's existing popular,
Mhm.
right? Number two, really showing off the talent of an actor, and also whoever decides to direct and write that is going to show off if they can really pull that off really well without playing off of the actual, Clark Kent Superman. If
Right,
they can do it without playing, then they nailed it. They win.
right,
They
exactly.
fucking win.
I really, really, really want them to stick with, like, just to stick with
I agree,
something that,
100%.
and for really, for more than anything, because like ultimately, I hate saying it, but it's like DC will make a Val Zod movie in animated form, and it'll be more true to the comics, and I'll
100%.
enjoy it, and
Yeah, yeah, of
it'll
course.
be
But that's
good
not that.
enough, and I can always go back to the Earth 2 books and have my fucking
100%.
enjoyment out of it.
And I agree with that. You and I, we always have this statement like, even if they release, like for instance, they release the Batman and it ends up being not good, I can go back to the other stuff I liked
Yep.
just
Yeah,
as
I don't subscribe to this idea that a lot of people seem to, where, oh, this new thing that I don't like ruins somehow my other thing that I liked.
no,
No,
not even a little bit.
no, no.
If it does, you're weak. You're a weak human. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
allow
you
something,
can't hold your own opinion
yeah,
without, like,
because without everything about it being great, like that's
like
dumb. If that's how you go around,
that's
uh,
literally like saying, oh, I went to McDonald's and I got bad fries, so I never went back to McDonald's again.
hey,
You went to one McDonald's and got bad
hey,
fries one time, and you never went back to McDonald's.
I'm a
There are
car guy,
hundreds of
right?
thousands
I'm
of
a car guy,
McDonald's.
right? I'm a car guy.
Right.
I love Mitsubishi cars from the 90s, early 2000.
Uh-huh.
Mitsubishi just released the Eclipse Cross. It's literally a crossover vehicle. It's no longer the Eclipse. Does that ruin the Mitsubishi Eclipse for me? No. My Talon, which is a Mitsubishi Eclipse essentially, is never going to be ruined for me because they decided to release this. I don't hate all of Mitsubishi because I don't hate the old Mitsubishi. I don't care
Mm.
for the new Mitsubishi, right? I don't care for the new Mitsubishi, but it didn't ruin any of the old cars for me.
You know what's funny? None of this screams Eclipse.
Oh no, yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, they just,
Like, not a single
it's
part of
like
it.
it's like
Like,
Ford
at least with
trying
the
to.
Mach E, it has like some
Of
elements of
course,
Mustang.
yeah, because they were like, well, we're gonna call a Mustang. Let's give it similar tail lights and stuff like.
But like, none of this is
Yeah,
Eclipse.
no, 100%. Yeah, I
This is
mean,
weird.
once again, it's
Not a
just a
fan.
perfect example of like one thing can ruin the whole thing for you. If it
Yeah.
does,
Yeah,
you're
because when they came out
weak.
with that weird bubble Eclipse with the glass top, I was like,
Yeah,
not my shit.
not my shit
But like,
either.
the old ones is still dope as shit when they're tricked out and they have the good body kits on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you know that the one thing I know in this world of car mods is Wings West? You know why I know Wings West? Because they make dope fucking Eclipse body kits. I
Yeah,
don't know shit else.
yeah,
I know Koenig and Wings West. Those are the
yeah,
only
right.
two things I know in my life,
Um,
because they made
but
dope shit for fucking
but
Eclipses.
yeah, man. So at the end of the day, like, am I gonna, not care for Superman anymore if they fuck up Velzad? Of course not. Am I not gonna care to want to see another Velzad story because this fucks up this story? Of course not.
Nah.
But I truly do hope that they do the proper thing here and follow the right story, because if they do, like I said, they win.
Right.
because they tell the right story. They win, and everybody's experience on that movie is going to be tremendously increased because they have to work with material that's not popular, and at least one of the actors has to get out of his comfort zone.
And it's new. It's
And
so
it's new,
new, dude. We're talking about a character that is less than 10 years old.
right? Yeah, like
That's
Belzad hasn't been
insane.
around like an
That's
insane amount of time.
insane. Like
So
that was a new 52 character, man. That was one of those standout things of the new 52 that like there just wasn't
like it
anything.
worked. Like
It
it was
worked.
something,
Exactly.
yeah,
It
it's
worked. It
something
was it was done in such a good way. And it had, man, and it's
shit,
one of
not
the,
even,
and
dude.
it's not
2014.
2014. Yeah, it's, I'm saying it's less than 10 years old.
What's that, 7? 8 years.
Dude, that just 7. That is
I'm rounding up.
that is if they, okay, so let's just, I'm just gonna like spitball this.
Yeah, yeah.
They do Valzad does well. They lay the groundwork for all those Earth 2 characters in Valzad.
Hmm.
Granted, they can't call it Earth 2 because there is already an Earth 2. That's the Stargirl universe. And they did establish that the DCEU is part of the same multiverse as the CW shows. But who knows if they'd stick with that. Nonetheless.
But hold on. But Stargirl can be part of his universe, can she not? Because they didn't talk about any other character except for what was in
Yeah, but their
Stargirl's one.
universe is way darker than Stargirl. It wouldn't work.
Oh,
It
I
wouldn't
don't
work.
know. I mean,
Like Clark, Clark
outside of
is
what's,
dead in this
no, I
universe.
get that, but I mean, outside of like Stargirl, like what she goes through, like the beginning of that show is dark. They murder
Eh,
all the superheroes.
that's true. That's true.
so
You not wrong.
so
You not
that is
wrong.
a fairly dark universe. She just happens to try to live a happy life. Well, kind
Yeah.
of, you know.
And you know, it's funny that you bring that up because during DC fandom, they like separated the event out into like, they did like the Bat family, right? And they did the Batman movies and shows
Mm.
and stuff like that. And they did the Superman family, and they jammed Stargirl in the middle of that. Which to me, as a comic fan, a long time comic fan, I have absolutely no idea why you would lump Stargirl in with the Superman family.
Is it maybe because they just didn't have an? They thought that was the
I mean,
best
but you
fit
could have just
family,
done it separately
right? But I
because they had
mean,
like
it's
Young
the.
Justice was separate. You know what I mean? Like they could have just had a Stargirl thing.
I
But
got you.
like they did a whole, because they did like Smallville and then they were like Stargirl and then they went to something else that was Superman. I was like, wait, what? Because then they like finished. They were like, I hope you enjoyed like taking a look at the Superman family of shows and blah blah blah. And I was like, what?
Are they trying to say?
I don't know what they're trying to say.
Uh,
I thought it was weird. I thought it was weird. There were just like a couple things during fandom that I was like really, really like, because it's so specific that I took notice because
right,
they
right,
said
right.
that. And
Yeah.
then when they talked about Young Justice, she was like, blah, blah, blah. You know, I hope you're excited to watch what Young Justice is up to and what else is going on Earth, I think 16 or whatever the fuck the universe is number.
Hmm.
But she said that as part of her script. Somebody wrote that for her.
Right, right, right.
For her to say Earth 13, I think it is. Why? Why the need to bring up that specific number? Because what my hope is, I could be wrong here, but my hope is, and I said this in my panels on pages episode, I hope that they just like solidify down a number list. I hope they fill the map out and they say, hey, CW shows are on this Earth, you know, Stargirl's on this Earth, Young Justice is on, like they decide the fucking DC like
But we just
live
hold on.
action
But everything
or
went to
an
One
anime
Earth.
on CW. But no, that's the funny thing. I don't know why they said that
I
because
know, because they
inherent.
specifically said that. They
Well,
said this is all,
they
everything
they
came
did
together.
they did, but that's why we
But
got a
then
Green
after,
Lantern ring.
they showed different
Which
Earths
by the
again.
way, the biggest fucking cock tease, and they still haven't paid it off, and it pisses me off. That's why we got a Green Lantern ring that no one fucking talks about anymore.
Apparently, it's still a thing.
I hope so. But anyway, My point is that's why we got a Green Lantern ring, which is, by the way, that means that the no, because they did say that the Green Lantern thing was still a thing after Crisis was done. Because then they said Earth 2, and that was Stargirl. That was like Earth 19 or whatever.
This is as of August 20, 2021. With several false starts in the past, Green Lantern's history on screen has been fraught one, but all of them might change. HBO Max's new series expanding on the existence of the Lantern Corps beyond the iconic Hal Jordan. American Horror Story star Finn Wittrock teased the series in a new interview with Entertainment Weekly, calling the upcoming project not your average superhero story. Wait a minute.
Why everybody got to say that shit? Can it just be an average superhero story? Can we just get one of those from DC first?
Hold on a minute.
What's the name?
Whitrock is doing Guy Gardner. There better be a fucking. There better be a fucking Hal Jordan or I'm sorry, not a Hal. A John Stewart.
If they put up Guy Gardner and we don't get a John Stewart fucking show, I'm gonna fucking. I don't even know what I'm gonna do, because that's ignorant as
dude. Because this was all riding on
historically. Nobody fucking likes Guy Gardner,
dude.
Nobody.
This was all riding on John to be fucking going into this.
Nobody fucking likes Gardner. Guy Gardner is the most despised superhero in DC. Batman has punched him the fuck out on multiple occasions just for talking shit.
Here's the thing, and I pray to God that's how they portray him. Because
Batman just shows up, knocks him the fuck out.
Dude, but here's the thing. But they need to show if they change his story, then they're doing nothing different that they did with Hal Jordan. If they make him Hal Jordan,
he's got to be a cocky asshole.
Yeah, he has to be a dick.
He's got to be a cocky asshole. He's like, oh, I got this ring. I'm the fucking guy. And if they give him his whole arc where he ends up going to the Red Lanterns, I'm okay with that, because he became a little more interesting when he became a Red Lantern.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But like, anyway, my point is,
there better be a fucking.
My point is, I hope they fill out this multiverse,
because the whole point was Diggle was supposed to be fucking. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it was the biggest cock tease that we never got a payoff on, because it was like, oh, they did it at the end of Green Lantern or Green Arrow, and then he showed up on Flash, and I was like, oh shit, they're actually like following through with this. Because
he showed up for that one episode, but apparently he came back to a show, one of these seasons.
Oh shit, I gotta.
With the ring, supposedly.
I gotta watch this new season, man. Damn it.
I'm not. I can't do
it. I'm gonna do it. I'll be honest with you, man. Superman and Lois has been really good, really interesting. Like,
yeah, but then I have to watch everything else because it all connects.
In so much as they have now, and I think I've watched 9 episodes. In 9 episodes, they've mentioned the multiverse. That's about as much as connected as it's been.
Still, regardless,
like it was literally just.
I mean, yes, but listen.
For what we know about the multiverse,
it doesn't matter. It'll connect. It'll connect. They'll have their big ass crossover.
They haven't had a crossover this year yet.
They didn't. It's COVID. They're trying
Crisis last year.
It was like 2 years ago, bro.
Was there no crossover last year?
No.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, no crossover. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. No.
Well,
crossover.
All right. Well, let's think about it. Well,
anyway.
Okay. So let me put it this way. I can't watch Batwoman because the new girl's not good. I think she's not a good actress. I'm sorry. I watched her in that first episode, and
they renewed her. They renewed her. I'm gonna give it the season because I want to see what happens to Kate, because they do resolve Kate.
Speaking of that,
they recast her.
Speaking of so they recast her, so we know that. So Kate's coming back.
Kate came back. I mean, the season's done.
Oh, Kate came back.
Kate came
I
back.
thought she was coming back.
No, they recast her. They resolved that storyline.
But Ruby Rose came out and says some shit against the production.
Apparently she's coming up with some shit, because like everybody from the show was like, nah, this bitch is kind of crazy.
This bitch is crazy. Yeah, and that's honestly, That's kind of what it seems like.
Because like like the producers, the director, like all of these motherfuckers, like
And I liked her. What's fucked up is
I
I
liked her.
liked her
But
as I thought she was
but
doing a good job, but apparently she's
but
crazy.
everybody is saying like she's hard to work with and all this other shit.
I believe
And I
it.
seem to recall that that was like part of the thing when she was leaving. There was like, oh, there's like talk about her being difficult to work with, and then
I believe it.
they decided that it was
Just
best to part ways. And now all of a
honestly,
sudden she's like, oh, it was abusive and blah blah blah. It wasn't a good
and
environment.
here's the thing,
Like,
I believe it because
I'm gonna say it's because
just
her movie didn't do well.
just look, she had two and neither one of them are good. Um, just watching how she handled one when she got announced as Batwoman, right? Just not necessarily how she handled the backlash, which is she did fine on that, but just watching like how she went with the motions of like bringing that to life
Right.
with this whole thing of like her backing out after one season, watching how she was talking about other things that she was doing, just her the way she was wording things, it seemed like the whole notion that she's hard to work with it seemed more truer
Right.
just by paying attention to like the wording of things and stuff like that. So I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible
I
that
mean,
she was
look,
just crazy.
if they were fucked up with her, like if they were treating her like shit, fuck them,
Fuck them, yeah, 100%.
But it just doesn't seem like that would be accurate,
But
especially
why would? But
we
let
have
me
so many other
rephrase this. Let
people
me
on those
rephrase.
shows.
Yeah,
Still.
I was gonna say. Let me rephrase this.
I feel like we would have heard something by now.
Let me ask you this: why would it be her? She's a white woman. Yes, she's a bi, but she's a white woman. Why would like they have a black man they could easily torture on that show if they wanted to be asshole? I'm just saying, like, if I'm just saying, like, no, I'm just like, it's not about laughing, man. I'm just
What
serious.
is
If
this
you,
question?
well, no, let me put it this way: like, why was it only her when normally when you hear stories like this, it's because somebody's black
Right.
or because
And it's like
usually it's because somebody is black, right? Usually it's racism, right?
Right.
So her being white already like that wouldn't have happened because it's most likely probably a very heavy white production company, right? So they probably didn't pick on her because she's white. Okay. But being bi, I can't imagine there's not other people that are on the show, like if they're production or actors
Right.
that might be bi or gay. So I can't, and it's also a company that's behind behind the series because it's similar creators that are also part of all the other CW shows. And we know that those other CW shows have both gay, bi, and also what's the word? Is it nine? Is it
I don't know who are you referring to. I don't know.
the chick that came out that we found out she is transitioned? What's the proper word? Is it? I said that before, and somebody came at me like that's not what you say anymore, and I'm like, well, what the fuck is it? Like I don't like I don't know what you say anymore.
Oh no,
so
like trans is fine.
Okay, so that's what I thought. So we know that company, the same people that are behind all those shows are also behind her show. Now, granted, like you're gonna have different directors, or sometimes you might have actually the same directors and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
you're talking about Supergirl.
Yeah.
On Dreamer.
So
yeah,
Dreamer. So we can't. I can't imagine it's an issue where either she's white or she's bi, right? So why was she a target and everybody else seems like they weren't? You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't add up.
Exactly. It doesn't add up because I mean you have multiple different ethnicities there. Of course, you have white, but I mean you have Asian, you have black. Like, why were you the target? And nobody else is saying anything. Like, if you were willing to come out and really blast these people, do you not think somebody else would too jump on
also,
that?
why wait? Why wait
Also,
so long?
Exactly. Why not say
now,
that?
Granted,
right
I'm not
going to
tell you how to deal with your grief and your trauma, but like, it just seems weird. It
It does.
doesn't
It
add up.
just
It doesn't match.
shit that just doesn't add up. So
Here's where I was going with that. Regardless of that,
yeah, 100%.
I'm still gonna watch the show. I'll let you know if I like season 1, season 2.
Because you said, but did you not watch a good portion of it?
I watched. I think I just watched the 2 episodes, maybe 1.
Yeah, I watched
was
the
car in
one,
the
and it
first
was
episode?
very yes.
Then
Where
yeah,
she was like, driving and stuff, and
the Bat Corvette.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It didn't.
I want to see it. No, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it because I'm interested. I want to see Luke get his suit. I'm interested to see that. He becomes Batwing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He gets a
Oh,
full on armor suit. Um,
that kind of. That kind of excites me.
it looks cool. It looks really like the comics.
Wait, hold on. They've actually shown it?
Yeah. No, it was in one of the last couple episodes.
What?
Yeah. Look, Batwoman, Batwing. Hey, he's a badass.
No shit.
Yeah.
Now that might bring, because I like him. I think he's a good actor. I mean,
good.
listen, within this show, he's a good actor. I can't say like officially he's 100% is a good actor in everything.
Yeah.
But
No,
in this show, I think he does a really good job. And now seeing that he actually not only is the brains, but he actually now also gets to kick ass in a pretty cool looking suit.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, man. It looks like really good. Like,
and it makes sense. Like it's not like the comics in the sense where it's like it's, I mean, I do see that in the comics it does have armor, but in some other comic shots it doesn't look like it does. So it's like it's on and off. But like I do like the fact that it's clearly an armored suit where he can withstand shit that would make sense.
Yeah.
And I do like the full headpiece, one for proper identity.
I never understood that.
Proper identity
I still
hiding.
think,
But 2, if somebody shoots him in the head, that looks like a helmet that could actually
I'll take a hit.
I'll take a hit. That would save him.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I still think it's funny that people have brought this up many times, but I still think it's funny. It continues to be funny because it's not necessarily untrue, but it's like people are like, oh, Batman keeps half his face uncovered because he needs the police to know that he's white. I was like, you're probably not wrong. Like in a realistic concept, like from going from a real world perspective, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not wrong.
But okay, so back to what I was saying.
But I'll tell you this. Until I saw Red Hood and Batwing have their faces fully covered, no other mask made sense to me.
None of them do.
Because I'm like, I can still, like, especially with technology that we have nowadays, they could easily find out who the fuck you are.
I mean, like, not Bruce.
Facial recognition. I mean, even with Bruce, like, just having that jawline uncovered with the way technology, especially in their world, you could easily find out who the fuck they are.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't really know how anyone's identity stays clean. Like I'm
either, man.
on Superman and Lois, this villain, this dude. I'm not gonna tell you who it is. He's trying to meet Superman, but
you can tell me who it is. Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna call him what he's called at the beginning, which tells you that that's not his name. But remember I told you there's a Black Luthor at the beginning? Yeah, so him. Let's call him Luthor for now. You should watch it. It's a good reveal. I was happy with the reveal.
Who would that be then?
So yeah, anyway, so it's like Luthor is like he's talking to Clark Kent, but he clearly doesn't know, right? Because then like he has a meeting with Superman and just doesn't make the connection.
Okay.
And I was just fucking how? and he has like a suit of armor and shit. Like,
right.
He has a he has a supercomputer.
Now that doesn't even make sense.
I'm just like,
how does the computer not go exactly the same humor?
The first time he sees Clark, No, the second time he sees Clark is from the computer being like, yo, this dude was in, because he's like, while you were talking, the computer's like, while you were talking to Lois, this dude was in here snooping around because he's like got an RV, like a battle RV. And it took a photo of him. And I was like, this is a supercomputer. And it knows about Superman. It can't just do a quick comparison.
That's I don't get it, man.
You just can't do a quick side by side.
Listen, I will say this. Listen, is there truth to that statement? Of course, there's truth to that statement. Let's be real. But this makes more sense to me than any other costume is. That's why, like, Spider-Man having a full face mask makes sense. Iron Man having a full face mask makes sense.
Yeah, but
Captain
Iron Man takes his fucking
America
helmet
not
off
having
every
a
fucking
full face.
week.
Captain America not having a full face mask makes sense. You know why? Because everybody knows it's Steve Rogers.
Yeah, he's like in history books and shit.
Like,
They teach people
literally.
about him.
Yeah, like what the whole thing in Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier. He goes, "Oh, it's yeah," like because
yeah,
that's it. That's
yeah.
winner. Oh, you look for me. Oh.
So anyway, as I was saying, with Val-Zod, if the movie does well and they lay the groundwork and they set up like the few characters, like
I wanted to do so well,
dude. So here's my thing: that if they build that world up and they build up this universe up, it is all of the things that DC is lacking in a major way. DC on their film side is lacking representation.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like the Justice League is white as fuck. It really
yeah.
has
I
been.
mean,
For,
you gotta yeah,
it's
you got
it's
you
white
gotta
and overwhelmingly male.
yeah. There's that too. That
On Val-Zod's Earth, Batman is dead. Superman is eventually dead.
like the Clark Kent Superman is dead.
Clark is dead.
Right.
And Bruce is dead.
Makes sense.
Bruce's daughter Helena eventually becomes Batwoman.
All right.
She does.
See, I'm down with this.
She's Huntress at first. Then she, after some bullshit, and they're on a new Earth. She like pretends to be Batman to like inspire people's like trust and security. But eventually, she does like just own the fact that she's a woman.
Right.
Green Lantern Alan Scott is gay.
Okay.
Flash is Asian.
Okay.
And he's not white. I forget what. Damn it! Now I'm gonna Earth 2.
This all sounds great. I like
it's a different world. All these characters are different.
So you're telling me not only are we gonna get a good story about a Superman that we haven't had, it's gonna be putting an actor outside of his comfort zone. If the directors and writers do the actual story, they're going to be bringing out something amazing, right? If they
Jay Garrick's white. Never mind, I take it back.
If they do the actual story of Val-Zod, they're actually going to be doing something great and not just rehashing Clark Kent Superman. And on top of all that, what you're telling me is there's going to be proper representation within the film.
Yep.
Oh, this sounds like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
This literally sounds like a no-brainer.
And what they could, oh my God, dude, it's what's funny is, again, I've said this before, there's 80 years of comic book history.
Right.
The shit writes itself.
Oh, for sure. At some point, it really does.
But specifically with this Val-Zod thing, right? What they could do, they literally take the formula from what happened during New 52. Power Girl and Huntress were stuck on like main Earth. They had essentially, what had happened is she was Robin, Huntress was Robin at the time, and Power Girl was Supergirl.
Right.
They were like going to help Bruce and Clark as they went to face off the dark side. Then they got teleported to Prime Earth. You do a 6-8 issue or episode miniseries of Huntress and Power Girl, because they're like keeping their identity secret, because on this Earth Bruce Wayne didn't have a daughter. Right. And there is no Supergirl yet. They're pretending to be other heroes. They're just doing their bit, and until Power Girl figures out a way to send them home. They go back home, and then they show up, and now Power Girl becomes Supergirl, Superwoman. Basically it's a fucking wonderful scene in the comic. Clark, after Clark dies, his shield, his S shield, is the last thing that's available. Like it's the last thing that's left of him.
Right.
And she like holds it up, and it's like fucking Kryptonian fucking fancy fabric or some shit.
Yeah, of course.
And it just like attaches itself to her.
Yeah.
So
of course.
it covers that stupid fucking titty hole.
Yep.
And B, it's a dope fucking moment because then it's like, take on the fucking
mantle.
you're taking on that mantle. I was like, that was so fucking sick. And I was like, this is because when they said Val-Zod, I was like, holy shit, here are all these characters and all these things that, because who is Khalid bin Hussein? Oh, Earth 2 Dr. Fate is definitely Middle Eastern. Like, it's just, there are so many, like, Hawk Girl is I think black, which granted she's already black on CW.
Yeah.
But like, if effectively you end up with, Lois Lane becomes Red Tornado, the robot. So Red Tornado is a woman and is Lois Lane, which is awesome.
Dude, this sounds
the Society
like
of Earth 2,
dude.
the Earth 2 Justice Society is Jay Garrick Flash, who is the only white man on the team. Well, no, he's the only white straight man on the team. Alan Scott, who is a gay. Val-Zod, who is a black Superman. Superwoman, and Hawkwoman.
Yeah.
Who is black.
I mean, it makes sense,
like,
dude. Like, there is zero reason to not do this. There's zero reason to not do this and do it the way it needs to be done. Absolutely not.
Oh shit. And it's a badass. I forgot about the badass Batman. Fucking Bruce. Dude. Bruce's dad wasn't dead in this universe. He just like hid, because basically I think it turns out that like he like owed money to some dudes, so that he like hid in squalor, and Bruce found him at some point. But eventually, basically, he comes back and he takes remember the drug Miraclo or Miraclo, whatever how this, he takes that miracle. Yeah, but it's in the comics is Miraclo.
No.
But yeah, Miracle, same shit.
Yeah.
He takes that to like be Batman after Batman dies. So he's like this old decrepit Batman. He's fucking angry at everything because he's just an old dude. And then he eventually dies, and that's why Huntress becomes Batwoman. Oh my god, dude, this so much potential. Holy shit. Oh, and fun fact. Dick Grayson is in this world. He becomes Batman eventually. Wait, who does she just stay Huntress then? She's
there's a Reddit thread saying, so we know Battison is DCU Earth 2, right?
What'd you say? Oh,
so
no.
There's a thread that says, so we know Battison is DCU Earth 2, right? But what if it's actually based on comics Earth 2, and that's where JJ's Val-Zod is also set? That's fine. That means Robert Pattinson dies.
I mean it could be.
I mean, it could, because he is young. He could find his dad.
I mean, he could find his. Yes.
But all that just means is it guaranteed he's dead after the third movie.
Well, no, because they're not gonna touch Darkseid again. They're not gonna want to. Because here's the thing. Because if you say that amongst the universes that the Young Justice TV show is one of the multiverses in the DC,
right,
is one of the universes in the DC multiverse, the DC like motion picture animated multiverse,
right?
The dark side we got is the dark side because there's only one dark side.
Oh, he goes through.
Yeah, the dark side that fights on Earth 2 and kills Superman on Earth 2 is the same
Is the
dark
same
side
dark side that.
yeah. It's the same dude.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't aware of that about dark side.
Yeah, dark side is because Apocalypse is not a planet within our universe; it is a planet outside of time space.
I see.
The New Gods and Apocalypse, New Genesis and Apocalypse are outside of time space. They're
Interesting. Okay.
yeah,
That's good
it's a
to know.
whole
It's good to
it's a
know. I
whole
wasn't
different
aware of
thing.
that. But listen, at the end of the day,
At the end of
well,
this
hold
3-hour
on, hold on.
podcast,
I know. Well, here's the thing. Well, speaking of that, they could then keep touching dark side because we could have dark side a lot then.
I mean, we could.
Because we could have him in this universe where he kills Superman, right? Because I'm guessing that's how Superman dies. He kills him.
He what's the word? He like enslaves him for a while,
Hmm.
and then like Clark like sacrifices himself to like save the people that he was gonna.
I see.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we could see Darkseid for quite a while, which is fine. Listen,
no
I'm
problem.
down for that.
Yeah, no
You
problem.
telling me you can run that Darkseid story for like mountains of time? Listen, if Marvel has done great with a single universe, so far, right? But let me put it this way: with a single universe, all on the same planet, unified superheroes, right? But what if DCEU does a better job at a multiverse
dude.
on the big screen?
I think it's possible,
But that's only possible if they have somebody on board controlling the shit. Because right now,
and someone and they don't need someone. And that's the thing. This is like maybe like a cheat card for them, but they don't need someone. They don't need a Feige controlling all of it.
yeah.
They need like a baby Feige for each universe.
Yeah, 100%.
If you say the Balzad movie and the Battison movie, and let's say the Gotham show that's going to be coming up,
right?
If all that happens in the same world, we just need to know that they happen in the same world.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep the details similar. Make sure the shit lines up.
Yeah.
Other than that, run free, motherfuckers.
No, I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
This Gotham does not need to be the sister city of that Metropolis or whatever the fuck I thought that was stupid in the first place.
I 100% agree with you, man. I think they just need to here's a few things that we've said before. One, just like Marvel, they need to communicate. We know shit. Marvel tells us shit. If somebody is leaving, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They
enough to keep us talking and enough to keep us asking.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, we know what's going on. We're not confused. Right now, we don't know. I'm sure neither does Henry Cavill if he's coming back. He wants to. I know for a fact he wants to. Nobody knows if he is.
No clue.
We know Ben Affleck came back even after he said on a GQ interview video, he said, I stopped playing Batman because it was no longer fun. He came back for Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
He got back into shape, got back into the fucking costume to reshoot some scenes for Zack Snyder. So we know he's willing to play Batman.
Right.
But we don't know if he's Batman. That's a problem. That's an issue. We need to know some of this shit. Your actors need to know some of this shit. There's a problem. There's a problem when your audience doesn't know. There's an even bigger problem when your actors don't know.
Here's the thing for me, man. I think it's an interesting dilemma that they have because, well, I mean, also even if they do know, they might not be able to tell anyone. I think what they need to do is they're afraid of it. They're afraid. This is the thing this is the thing that I think has handicapped Batman movies, the most recent Batman movies.
Right.
They're afraid of the comic book shit.
They are.
The entire, I mean, the whole what's his face? His whole saga. I always forget the damn director's name. The Dark Knight saga.
Nolan.
Nolan's trilogy. He was like, no superheroes, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Nolan's trilogy.
It's like realistic, and it's like because of that, we became afraid of the silliness of comics.
Well, yeah, well, it's twofold, right? Because his universe did well, right? People really did overall enjoy it.
Right.
And then going into Superman, knowing that his world has nothing to do with Superman, but they were like, how do we keep this wave of what people like
Right.
going into this Superman? Well, let's make it as realistic as possible and have Nolan be a producer slash somebody who gives advice to Zack
Right.
Snyder on how to do this first movie, and then we'll go from there. And I'm like, that's great, but we don't need to do that as long as we understand that these three movies, that's it. Like it's official. That's because when they ended originally, we know Nolan said there wasn't going to be another movie of this Batman, but we didn't know if that was true. We just know Nolan said it, but
Right.
we don't know if WB was going to be like, oh no, there's another one. He just might not be there.
Right. Which is effectively what happened with the old Batman movies. It was
Right,
like
exactly.
there was
So like
gonna
if
there
you
was gonna
told
be a
us like,
third there was gonna be a third Tim Burton movie, but then between like what was happening with the Superman movie, like there was just like a lot of bullshit.
there was a lot, yeah, too much.
And so he was just like, fucking them out. I got other shit to do.
I don't blame him.
And that's why we got Joel Schumacher.
Right.
Bless his heart. I really enjoyed motherfucking
But it
Batman
was very
Forever.
much comic booky.
But Batman
Like,
Forever is comic books.
comic
And that's
booky
why I
100.
love it.
Yeah, that's why I love it.
that shit. I thought the Batman and Robin pushed the envelope even a little farther.
It did.
Further, and I did not love that. It was like a little too 60s Batman show for me.
Yeah.
A little campy.
Here's the thing.
Mr.
Did I
Freeze being like
Did I
ice
still
puns.
get my enjoyment out of
Ice
it?
to see you.
If did I get my enjoyment out of it? Yes, but it was too much.
Yeah.
It was too much. I am happy with the direction Zack Snyder wants to go with this, but
Yeah.
they just need to let him
Yeah.
tell his story. Even if that means it's a 3-hour fucking movie, let him tell the story. Sometimes it needs to be that long to tell the story. Just
Right.
let him tell the story.
And I would have been fine if they had just done a two-parter.
Well,
Tell the
100%. I
full
mean, that's how
story.
they
Give me
did
a
with the
full
last
fight with-
Avengers. That's
me
how
the
they did with the
full fight
last
with
Avengers
Darkseid,
because
yeah.
it took that long to tell the proper story. And
me
I'm
the-
sure even then they cut out a lot to tell that story.
Like, give me the full fight. Like, give me the fight with Steppenwolf ends, but like the things activate and Darkseid
Right.
comes through, and that's
Right.
the end of the first one. And you're like, oh shit. And the second one is the fight with Darkseid. They,
Yeah.
they got to go to Apocalypse or no, they shit. Even easier when Flash comes through to try to supercharge Vic to stop the thing.
Right.
It opens the wormhole and it teleports both of them to Apocalypse. Now, Steppenwolf's already down. They got him taken care of, but now they're like, oh shit. So they all run through.
Right.
End of movie 1.
Right. Yeah. No, for
We
sure.
go into movie 2. They're on Apocalypse. They
Yeah,
gotta find them. They gotta stop him.
They just need either somebody who's really good at running the whole thing, or like you said, just little Feige's for each universe.
Yeah.
Whatever
I
it
wouldn't mind
takes.
if they said,
But the problem is they do need somebody at the top that just knows what's happening with the company, because right now they don't even know what's happening with the company.
Yeah. Well, they keep firing people, like,
which is stupid.
And there's like dumb shit all over the place. Like, I was just reading something about Scott Snyder and like Dan DiDio. I always said DiDio, but apparently it's DiDio, whatever. Anyway, one of the DC execs was fired, and then it was like, oh, probably because of his relationship with Scott Snyder, which is one of the writers.
Right.
He wrote the
Court of Owls. Didn't he also write the Superman that I really like, the Earth One?
Matt might have. I don't remember who wrote Scott Snyder, who wrote Earth One, but I actually just said on my Panels on Pages episode that Earth One has been my favorite Superman, but I'm not like a big Superman fan. Ironically, like I like Superman stories, but I am not like I'm really critical of Superman stories.
Right.
Because I have high expectations. Whereas like X-Men, it would take a lot for me to like not finish an X-Men story. Like there might be an X-Men story that it was not my favorite, but I
That
would
was
always
written by J. Michael Starzinski.
Straczynski. Yeah, that makes sense.
Straczynski.
Straczynski. Yeah.
That is, I mean, you know me.
Well, that's the guy that
That's
wrote
one of my
Babylon
favorite
5.
Supermans.
That's the guy who created Babylon 5.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
I
That's
like his stuff.
I mean, that is one, if not my favorite Superman, because it's very similar to what Zack Snyder did, because he was still new. He was still trying to figure his shit out. He didn't know what was right or wrong. You know, he knew the idea of what he believed was right. But like at the end of that book, you could say what he did was wrong.
Yeah, it's
you could say
it is a much more pragmatic and practical Superman. And I
right,
appreciate
exactly.
it. I appreciate
And I appreciate that too, because at the end of the day, he grew up on Earth. As good of a parents as he had, that doesn't mean he's not going to have mixed understandings of what, like, he's not going to be the fucking 50s Superman where he's like, I know what's right. Don't do that, Billy, or whatever. Fucking
right. And
like,
it's one of those things that we because we may never see Zack Snyder's whole vision, we won't get to see that Superman, because he always said that that was his goal. His goal was for him to grow to be that Superman.
right. He was
And
at some point where he's like,
post Resurrection, post Dark Side, he would
100%.
have.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
for sure. I mean, you grow, right?
I mean,
As a
him coming back from the dead, that is hope. That
yeah,
is
exactly,
the hope.
exactly. So at the end of the day, yes, at some point,
But I think it would not. It would remove that thing where people were deifying him, where people were like, "Oh, he's like the second coming of Christ, and he's all this other shit." Like people were forming religions around him. I think it would have removed that, because like he died,
he died,
but
yeah,
he did come back.
right. He did come back, but like I can understand that, right? I can understand that there would be, and I understand why they showed that in the movie, because in in a real world scenario, some people would say this is a from God, right? This is our side, right? That's people would do that.
Right.
Where even if he does tell them, I'm an alien, like, I mean, look at the world we live in. People tell you something and you still don't believe it, even though it came out of the, people that know what they're talking about. Like, you're still coming up with your own answer. So, like, I understand why he put that in there, because he wanted you to understand that there's multiple understandings of who this person is, right? There's his understanding, the people that are around him understanding, and then the people he doesn't even know understanding. And like, he was trying to tell a story, and I really do hope that, I don't know, I hope they get somebody that knows how to run this company and bring back, even if he's not a director, at least he's the guy that's behind the story, right? At least he's the guy that's telling you how he wants the story to go, because it was his idea of it. But we'll see what happens there.
We will see what happens.
We'll see.
I had a bunch of other stuff, but
all right, let's go with them.
No, we're out of it's conversational stuff. It's
is it conversation stuff.
So we'll do another episode soon. I'm gonna put this out tomorrow, because I think we're a week behind. So in 2 weeks we'll drop another episode, but we're gonna maybe see you tomorrow. We'll do the next episode. Just record that so it's out of the way, and maybe we'll maybe get a week ahead.
Yeah, that'll be crazy. Oh, yeah, that'd be crazy. That
you should definitely watch my new episode that I did of the video of the microphone that I finally fucking reviewed, and I had to re-record 3 times.
I do see that when I was on Facebook, you did hit like on that, so I will be watching that, of course.
That is going to be everything we have for today. We are we migrated every episode now to Anchor, and we are on new platforms. So if you are just now finding out about us at episode 97, welcome to the fucking jungle.
Yeah, right. And you watched up to this. You listened and or watched up to this point.
We are
welcome.
3 hours deep, baby. I hope you are listening to this on 2x speed. That's gonna be it for this one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yep. Later.